On behalf of the Executive Director of the Institute Management and Staff, I'd like to warmly welcome you to the IDEG House and specifically the auditorium of the Institute for Democratic Governance, IDEG. I believe that to start, it would be good to seek the face of God, and for which reason I would kindly like to crave your indulgence to rise with me for the opening prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we want to thank and bless your name for this morning. Your word says that this is the day you have made, that we will rejoice and be glad in it. Your word also says that where 2 or 3 are gathered in your name, you're there in their midst. So we acknowledge your presence. And oh God, we ask that you come and take absolute control of this forum and steer it to a fruitful and successful end, so that at the end of the day, we'll give you all the glory, adorations, and thanksgiving. This we have prayed in Jesus' mighty name with thanksgiving. Amen. You may please take your seats. Good morning to you once again. My name is Patrick Richard Okine. I'm head of operations here at IDEC. And I'd like to welcome you to this program, which is an IDEG forum with the EC. And basically, you would agree with me that ahead of the December 2024 elections, it is proper that we address some of the issues that we think are of concern and that could undermine the integrity and credibility of the elections. And these are some of the concerns that were raised by the European Union Observer Mission in 2020, and which IDEC is taking up so that we can talk about these issues and instill some confidence and trust among the general public in the lead to the December elections. And so we're happy to have the EC to assign to us one of their distinguished personalities. Dr. Otuo Srebo Kwaku is here with us, and he will be responding to some of the issues that we will be asking him or talking to him about. We have, for those of you who may want to use the washroom, right behind you is the exit door, and as you step out through the back door, it leads you straight to the washroom. I also have with us my own professor, Professor Kwesi Jonah. He's the Senior Research Fellow and in charge of advocacy and institutional relations. And he would also be supporting this program. May I very quickly, if you'd allow me, just pick the program outline so that I could take you on a quick run through it, and then we can continue. You're also reminded that we're live streaming on our Facebook page, IDEC Ghana. So if you refer to the program outline, we've shared them in the files that are before you. We do have the welcome remarks and purpose of gathering, which is quite brief and which I'm doing now. And then we'll have the opening remarks by Professor Kwesi Jonah. And then we would enter into the next phase of the program, the part 2, which is the presentations. And that would be on the clear guidelines for handling potential irregularities during the counting and collation process of the 2024 general elections. After that, we'll ask our speaker to do a presentation on efforts made by the EC on the publication of, on its website, detailed polling station results for all elections, as well as detailed results from all levels of collation, well before the deadline for filing petitions against results. And then we would have an interactive session that should be part 3 and not part 2, part 3. And then you can ask any questions that you would want to put before him. If you have any contributions to make or submissions, you're very welcome. At that stage, what we would ask you to do is just to raise your hand. A microphone will be passed on to you, and then you would mention your name, the organization you represent, and then you do your submission. And after the program, please don't be in a haste to leave. We'll all have a photo session with our distinguished speaker. So without much ado, I would like us to zoom straight into the program, and I would want us to welcome Professor Kwesi Jonah. He's a Senior Research Fellow, Advocacy and Institutional Relations, to give us the opening remarks. Thank you.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. As my colleague, Mr. Patrick Kokan, has already mentioned, my name is Kwesi Jonah, and I am one of the workers at the Institute for Democratic Governance. Now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we approach the 7th December general elections, I believe that we should all spare some time to reflect on Ghana's position and role in democratic governance on the African continent. Question is, we have already conducted 8 relatively free, fair, transparent, and peaceful elections. We are going into the 9th election. Question, where is Ghana located as far as democratic governance is concerned on the African continent? Now, going entirely by objective indicators globally, our democracy, with all its imperfections, is not doing badly. We are the 7th, that is this year, the latest, most democratically governed country in the African continent. We are the first most peaceful country within the West African sub-region, and 4th in the entire African continent. Harvard University came up with what they called the Political Stability Index. On the African continent, we are the 6th most stable democracy. When it comes to press freedom, we have declined a little, but even still, we are still within the top 5 countries with the freest press in the African continent. And so, going into the 2024 election, we have a very huge reputation, not only to protect, but also to improve upon. I can tell you that we have reached a stage in our democratic development where we must either fast track or backtrack. If we don't want to backtrack, if we want to fast track, then we must conduct reforms, because in spite of all the nice records that I've just pointed out, we know that there are certain weaknesses, there are certain lapses in our democracy. And some of these weaknesses relate to the electoral process. The European Union, which since 2012 has consistently observed elections in Ghana, has always come up with certain recommendations that will help us to reform in order to fast-track our democracy and not to backtrack. Today's meeting, as Mr. Patrick Okine has already explained, has to do with two of these recommendations. One of them has to do with the publication of polling station by polling station results officially on the website of the Electoral Commission. Why is this necessary? To be very frank with you, there's no serious political party in this country that can say that they don't have the results, polling station by polling station results, because our system of elections is such that at every polling station there are two agents for the political party, one for the presidential candidate, one for the parliamentary candidate. So by the close of the day, you know the results for that particular polling station. And if you want to collate, you can. But it is still important for the EC to publish these polling station by polling station results officially on its website. Why? Because people sometimes dispute the results of the elections and they want to go to court. The court process is time-bound. You must do so within 21 days or forever keep your peace. And that is why it is absolutely necessary to have these results published on the official website or some dedicated portal, so that anybody who wants to go to court to challenge the results will say, these are the official polling station by polling station results that I am presenting. This is what I see wrong. Second, the second issue has to do with the hold-ups that happen in the process of counting and collation. You have ended voting at the polling station, you are now counting the ballots. There is a particular ballot paper, you don't know who the person voted for, because the thumbprint cuts across. Generally, common sense dictates that if the bulk of the thumbprint is against a particular candidate, that is the intention of the voter. We wanted to vote for presidential candidate Kwesi Jonah because about 75% of the thumbprint is against his name. But believe you me, that is on paper. If you are in the stronghold of one of the parties, there will be pressure to reject, to declare it a rejected ballot paper. There's a hold-up. There are so many issues that cause hold-ups in the process, counting and collation process. We have brought all the results for the various polling stations at the Constituency Collation Center. We have put them on the board. Somebody challenges. I was at this polling station. This is not what I saw. There's a hold-up. So there is the need for the EC to give clear guidelines to the officials at the polling station and the collation centers. If such a thing happens, how do you proceed? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, these are the main reasons why we have gathered here this morning. And so, Dr. Sribo Kweku, my very, very good friend at the EC, can see how very prosperous he looks, is the one who is going to address these issues. And I have every confidence that given the democratic spirit reigning in this country, all of us will, after listening to him, make our contributions to the subject. On this note, I want to thank you sincerely for coming once again, and I hope that you have very fruitful and productive deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. I think that Prof has remarkably set the tone for our speaker to take over and to share some thoughts and insights with us as to how they intend to address the topic. But before I invite him to do so, may I render sincere apologies for, I'm being corrected that his name is actually not Otuo Serebo, but it's just Dr. Serebo Kweku. So, my sincere apologies, Doc. Yes. And so we've come to that part of the program where we have to invite him to make the presentation, to respond to the opening remarks. And so, as we all may have been aware, Dr. Serebo Kweku was the former director of the Electoral Services. He's now moved to be director of training at the EC head office, and he handles anything training within the Electoral Commission. And so I have the singular honor, privilege, and pleasure to invite Dr. Serebo. Thank you, Dr.
Good morning, Prof. and Mr. Okain. Good morning, my seniors here, and good morning to everybody. I was thinking ADEC was doing renaming. So I was going to ask, when you are naming somebody in our traditional setting, you put some water on my tongue, and some snap or whatever, and you change the name. So probably, and sheep. Okay, in our tradition, it's a fowl. So thanks for the opportunity. And I want to declare some assets here before I proceed. I have my big senior here. Mr. Ahin used to be the Director of Elections of the Electoral Commission. So, so I think 2 other directors came after him before I came. So when I see him, I have to humble myself. Now I'm also Director for Training. I'm so glad to used to be the Director of Training. So he's also my big man here. Then I have my colleague, I did my school from Otopokuare. He also attended Otopokuare. He became the acting director for Bono region. So he's also here. So at least I can see 3 senior officers around me. So whatever I say, I know I have people who can correct me if I try to be mischievous. And they also share their experiences with us. Once again, I'm grateful, and I bring you greetings from the Electoral Commission. Unfortunately, I don't have any prepared speech, but I can try and address all the issues that you have brought on board. I will start with where Prof. Jonas started trying to explain the issues of the rejected ballots. Most often than not, we confuse rejected ballot with spoiled ballot. And I would say that if the easiest definition or distinction is that the spoiled ballot are not found in the ballot box, but rejected ballot are found in the ballot box. That is the easiest definition. All of them are not counted for any voter, but spoiled ballots don't enter the ballot box, but rejected ballots enter the ballot box. So that settles everything. And we have 5 reasons why a ballot that has entered the box is rejected. One of it is that ballot doesn't have the official mark of the commission. In other words, it was not validated. It is important in the sense that some people may try to use the back door to insert some ballot papers into the box. But when you do that, the first thing is that you can't have the validation stamp. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason is that some voters, for some reasons, will not do any thumbprint at all. They will take the ballot papers and give it to you as you give them out. No thumbprint at all. And I remember in 2000, yes, I was a district officer for Swedro. I was there when an elderly person went went through all the processes. She was given the ballot papers. But before I realized, she was holding it this way, going home with the ballot paper. So you have to call her and take her back to the box for her to do the needful. No thumbprint at all. The next one is that the person more or less likes all the candidates. So for the first time, we edited all the rejected ballots of the 2020. And for presidential, we had 12 candidates, and some of the people were voting for all the 12 candidates. So he doesn't want to be partial. So he wants to be fair, and everybody will be given part of the votes.
Could it be that he collected money from all of them?
I don't know. There are a lot of theories behind them, but so the person will vote for more than one candidate as required. So that one, the ballot is also rejected. And the one given by Prof is that the person would thumbprint such a way that it cut across the boundary for two candidates. So whether it is 1090, 1585, whatever, some of the vote will stray to another candidate. So which of them are you going to allocate the ballot? That's the fourth reason. And the last but not the reason is that the person wants the people to know that I voted for this candidate. So he leaves a mark on the ballot paper that distinguishes him to the people that they will know that, oh, this is the vote of Prof. Jonah. For example, Prof voted and writes on it, Prophet Jonah. Or somebody has a nickname that everybody knows, then you put the nickname there. When such things happens, these ballot papers are rejected. 5 reasons the ballot should be rejected. But for the spoiled, when the ballot paper was being torn from the stock, it was torn through, so it has split the ballot. Or when the ballot paper was torn and given to the voter, it fell on the ground and the mud or soil terminated it. Because once there's a mark on it, you cannot use it. The other one that we don't recommend, but it happens, that I went onto the screen, made my choice for a candidate, but I realized that I've made a mistake. I was going to vote for candidate B, but I voted for candidate A. You have the right to go back once you have not put it in the box. Give it to the presiding officer that I've made a mistake. The officer will just take the paper, run 2 lines across it, and write spoiled. You have to be given another ballot paper. The other part of it is that when the ballot paper was given to you, you have seen some stains on it. Stains on it. So when you thumbprint, somebody can interpret the stain as also thumbprint. Right? Because for example, the stain is on, let's say, candidate 5. I'm going to vote for candidate 3. So somebody will say that you voted for this and you voted for that. So once you've seen that stain, don't use it. Request for a new ballot paper. And go there. And I remember, I think in 2000 or so, the whole of Northern region, we have to recall the whole ballot papers because the printed stain was on a lot of the ballot papers. We have to record all of them at a very high expense. Technically, and if we were to understand ourselves, we should be able to differentiate a stain from thumbprint. But some people will not agree. So to avoid any trouble, all stain ballot papers should be reprinted at additional cost. So these are some of the reasons why ballot can be declared spoiled. Now back to the issue on board. How do we rectify irregularities? I want to put on record that after every election, that's why I declared my 3 assets here. We do both internal review and external review. So after 2020, we held our internal review to look at what are the things that we did better than it used to be so that we can sustain or even improve upon them. And what are the weaknesses so that we will avoid them or try to rectify them. We did this one internally. The external one, some of you were there. We did that at probably you were there. And we came out with the communique. But unfortunately, my friend, Dr. Computer, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, you see, immediately I mentioned his opponent is saying he's a latecomer. That's one thing I like by the NDC and MPP. Now, in the public view, they will portray that they are enemies. When they finish, they are the best of friends. So I always say that don't look at them and fight. Because when they will finish, they will go somewhere and take lunch over some bottles. Then you have your injuries to go and look at them. So, under no circumstance to anybody lose the strap of hair because of elections. Me standing here, at times, they will go on air and fire me. When they finish, they will call me. You know, this is politics, so don't take it serious. So that's how the politics, that is the joy of the politics. So one, as part of the recommendations from the review, the external one, and the communique that we signed, we had wanted to close elections by 3 o'clock. Because our understanding and thinking is that most of the confusions occur in the night. Most of them. And now that we have decided that no polling station have more than 750 voters. Some time ago, some used to have even 2,000 at a polling station. Now, 2020, the threshold was 749, this time 750. No polling station will be more than 750. And with this, it should not take extra hours to finish, if everybody were to be there on time. So once we come out a time, so somebody's phone on. So once we are able to reduce the threshold, what about this one?
I think it's for journalists.
Once we're able to do the threshold, we should be able to finish on time. And from experience, counting does not go beyond 2 hours. Counting does not go beyond 2 hours. So if you're able to finish voting by 3 o'clock, by 5, we should have finished the polling station resource. So what will be left with the transmission and the rest. But when we met our colleagues, Deputy Secretary and Dr. Computer Science, I mentioned their names, including that bad boy there. I always call him as a bad boy. Mark, they said, for this year, we shouldn't touch the law. So the commission also said, okay, if touching the law will raise the temperature in the country, why don't we drop them? But we believe that with time, maybe they will appreciate it and we'll go back that way. So we have wanted to do that, and they said we shouldn't. So we agreed. And one of the other suggestions too was that we should give some waiver to the female candidates. Because if you look at the parliament, the ladies are less than 10%. I don't know what is captured in the affirmative action law. I don't know whether it's going to change the trend, but I'll be surprised. Because we are in democracy, everybody has the right to contest. I don't know whether Computer and my friend here, the Deputy General Secretary, will see some of the consistencies to them. I don't know what is in the affirmative action. But we propose that let's do our part. So we are giving the female candidates and people with disability a waiver of 25% of any fee that will fix. We also decided that the 2020 deposit levels were going to be maintained. We know inflationary and but we said that we'll maintain the same figure. So for presidential, we are maintaining the 100,000 deposits. Therefore, the women will get a 25% waiver, which will send them to 75,000. And I remember at one of the meetings, you have not been, but you were there. My party, you know my party? No. And the woman said, well, the people were complaining to us. I said, no. How can your president house say, Mufang 1 million? Mufang 1 million. So we are saying that we are maintaining the 100,000, but the women will pay 75%, including people with disability, so that we are helping boost up the inclusivity of elections. So females and the people with disability will be expecting you to file. And that also goes to the parliamentary. Parliamentary 2016, it was 10,000. 2020, 10,000. 2024, 10,000. Who do you clap for us? The value is the same. The value is not the same. The figure is the same, but the value is not the same. Yes. Okay, nominal value the same, but real value not the same. So it also means that the female and people with disability will pay 7,500, whereas the male candidates who are not people with disability will pay 10,000. And our understanding too is that contesting election is not an individual issue. That issue also, if you don't have money, you should be able to mobilize it from your supporters. It is a proof that you are going to be in a position to be able to mobilize. So if you are saying you want to be a president of Ghana and you cannot mobilize people to pay 100,000, then how are you going to even do the campaigning? And I was saying that look at the streets, the posters and the LLC. Huge posters. Is it not the case? So I don't think.
Their own primaries, party primaries.
I don't want to go there. Because but they themselves they know. Yes. So, but the issue is that when they are paying to themselves, no matter the value, accepted. But paying to commission. But in their case, when even they pay, it is forfeited. But in our case, if for presidential level you are able to get 25% or 1/4 of the vote cast, value vote cast, everything is refunded to you. So it is just a deposit. Go and do well, get 25%. Even if you don't win, you get your money back. But if you are not able to get a 25%, the government of Ghana benefits. Please here, I want to say that it goes to the consolidated fund, not to the Electoral Commission. So some people will say that because we want to raise money for ourselves. No. The money goes to the consolidated fund, not to the Electoral Commission. Then for parliamentary, it's 12.5% or 1/8 of the vote cast. So presidential, 25%, you get your deposit back. Parliamentary, 12.5%, you get your money back. So that's how the deposit goes. And so the women will get their money back, the men will get their money back, the people with disability will get their money back if they're able to get the 25%. But what pains me is that most of them they are not, MPP and DC will get their money back. Then the parties who are saying they are hypocrite. But they are the one who will lose. The Prof mentioned something and I want to correct it. So don't look at the structure. I'm hypocrite, not well endowed. I'm hypocrite. So Prof was saying, looking at me, I look well endowed. But for the pocket, it's dry. So, okay. Now, the issue too is how do we communicate our processes of addressing the irregularities? So what are some of the irregularities? What are some of the irregularities? One, some of the people will declare the results, ask the agents to sign, but the presiding officers themselves will forget to sign. How do we address that? So they have declared the results. It has gone through the various processes of collation and the rest, but it is detected that that result was not signed. It was one of the reasons why the MPP went to court in 2013, after 2012 election, so they went to 2013. How do we address that? One other reason is that the person will declare the results, but the figures will differentiate from the West. And in 2012, we had 27-0 for 270. If you remember, there was a polling station that declared. The West, the person wrote 27-0 instead of 270. How do we address that? Again, at the polling station, a polling agent will request for a recount. How do we handle that? After the recount, somebody or the same person can request for another recount. What happens? I will talk about that. Then, some also say that there is an overvoting. Another regret. How do you handle that? In the first place, what is an overvoting? The next time, when you get to the collation centers, now you have 3 layers of collation: constituency, regional, and national. Somebody can also call for recollation. How many times can the person call for, and how do you address it? I want to put on record that if you go into our election manual, every election year we have an election manual, and all these things are addressed on them. They are addressing them. But the unfortunate thing is that it goes to our officers, not to the public. That's the difference. But if you pick any election manual, all these processes are there, how to rectify them. But because if you are not an election official, you may not get the manual, so you wouldn't know. So how do you also handle that? Now let me go step by step. And starting with the last one that I said. So henceforth, all the steps that are going to be used to address the anomalies are going to be put on our website. We are going to publish them on our website, so that when you go to on our website, all the issues that I've listed, how they will be addressed, will be found over there. In addition to that, we are going to develop what we call aid memoir. Aid memoir is just like a postcard, some small sheet, hardcover, that will list the steps on it. We give it to our officers and our observers and the rest, so that they can also hold it, and you can use that one to challenge anybody who is trying to be mischievous or whatever. So we are going to develop aid memoir for all the issues that I've mentioned. How, if it is overvoting, how do you handle it? If there's recollation, how do you handle it? If there's recounting, how do you handle it? And whatever. So we are going to, in addition to putting them in the election officials manual, we are going to put them on our website and also develop aid memoir for our officers and our observers for them to also appreciate. I also want to say that as part of the recommendations by our observers, especially CODEO and the European Union, I remember you are with them, right? And he can testify that we've met them about 3 times on these steps that I am talking about, the European Union. So we came out with our way of addressing them, and they also capture them as part of their recommendations. But the joy in it is that when they brought the report, they said they have given us 95% success, if you remember that. So we're asking them, that is their verdict on the 2020 elections. So we asked them, why not 100%? And they said because of some of the variants that people lost their lives and the rest. So they said that was not the Electoral Commission. So give us our marks and handle it as that. So clearly, and the observers who are here, they can tell me if I'm lying. They all give us thumbs up. And one good thing about Ghana's election is that transparency. Every step is there. So before even the commission will come out with the final results, I know CODEO did it. The media houses, at least I can talk of Peace and Joy, they were all with the results. And our result did not differ from them. Is that not the case? So the other day I took the CSS one, and my boss here was saying that they did it, and I didn't agree. That one of the challenges of the commission is that the observers and the media, they went through with us. So when people are challenging the results, they should also come out with their findings and see whether we did something wrong or whatever. You see, we should understand, and that is my principle, which some may not want. Everybody here has been a student before. If you write the exams and you do well, who did well? Who did well? Okay, that brought the paper. But you want an A, you are giving C, that wicked lecturer. Prof, were you not insulted on that. So the thing is that everybody here, when you get the results with respect to what you want, or even beyond what you want, I brought a paper. I remember when I used to teach A-level economics, there was a guy who used to drink, and I would call him and sit him down. That you have the potential, sit down and learn. The guy went and wrote exams. I was teaching A-level economics. The guy had 3 A's, and they didn't get it. You know what he did? He photocopied the slip and got drunk. So he meets you, bro, then he give you a copy of it. Bro, I give you a copy of it. But those who did not do well, have you gone for your results? I'm here to go for it. Even though the results is in the pocket. That's how election is. And I've been saying that for the political parties, Electoral Commission is in bed with them when they are in power or when they win. But when they lose, there's a divorce. So I always ask them, why don't you tell Ghanaians that when you were in power, you were doing A, B, C, D with the Electoral Commission. So once you are off power, you know the opponent will do the same. Once they're able to do that, they will know where the problem is and will address it. But we see it as normal issue that if you lose, you complain. At times, when you are doing collation, the most difficult part is when the results are becoming clear. Then, initially, when the results are coming, oh, what is it? Then they will take. They will take. Then when the results becoming clear, there was no dot on this I. There was no cross on this on this T. So we read that now they're beginning to find faults. But if you are in the Electoral Commission and you know you are doing what is right, you just explain it to them and you move ahead. Other than that, you can never declare results. Other than that. Because if you are to ask for, then let's look for all the I's and dot them. Let's look at all the T's and cross them, you will not finish. But the most important is that you have to rectify. So some of the issues that we do is that when the results declare that the polling station has an error, if the president has the right to correct it there, if he sees it or his attention is called to that. But if he is not or she is not, and it comes to the constituency and it is detected, I've declared my asset here, they should tell me if I'm lying. You call the presiding officer back to their constituency, come and rectify your errors and sign against it. And when that is done, the constituency executives there are representing the police station agents, right? So once they also agree, they also sign before the results are taken. Mr. Okreko, is it not true? And this time I heard my bad boy saying it is true. Mark, it's true, eh? That is it. So if the problem is at the polling station, it is only the presiding officer who can correct it. Because you and I were not there. So you call him or her to come and correct it, then he signs against it. Then the agents, because at that time the police station agent may not be there, but the constituency executives are there, they will sign before it could be added to the results. But it should also be understood that if our officer has signed and the party agents did not sign, assuming nobody signs, we'll go ahead and add the results. Because it's assumed that they were not there. It is only when they have indicated on the reason why they are not signing that the commission will investigate. If it has merit, then it is addressed. But if you are angry and you say you will not sign, we'll go ahead. And my senior here, if you remind, I can pause for him to tell us a story. Something happened in the Brunaf region. Please come and tell them, then I will continue. Now, I want it to be more practical so that I know how things happen.
Yeah.
Yes, the Brunaf region.
Doc, thank you for...
And don't forget, I said he used to be the director for training.
Thank you for the opportunity. What happened did happen in 2008. In 2008, during the voting, in fact, after the voting had ended, this happened in the Brunhafo region. At the time, it was just Brunhafo. 2008, we didn't have the Bunu separated from the Ahafo and so on. And so during the counting, party reps were going around. And then some NDC party reps visited a polling station. And in their minds, they thought that the NDC was being mischievous at that polling station. So quickly, they rushed to the collation center and said, hey, return officer, we will not admit results from this polling station because the NPP cheated. But there are rules for accepting or rejecting election results. So in effect, once those rules are complied with, nobody can say Electoral Commission take it or don't take it. If there's an infringement, based on that infringement, then the commission can decide, oh, you have gone against this rule, so I'm doing A or B. Now, when the results came, they opened the box, they brought the results out, and lo and behold, NDC had won. Meanwhile, they had gone to complain that it should not be added. So there and then, NPP also said, oh, you had already rejected results from that police station, you remember? So we are not going to add it. And it became a tug of war. So we had to take people.
And that you know that result can make a difference.
A difference. You know, finally, when they put all the results together, adding it had a different winner, and subtracting it also had another. So it became key, you know, and something that could have been avoided easily, because the one party wanted to be mischievous, created a problem for everybody. You know, because of that one, we had to carry the results for that constituency from Kenyasi. First, the constituency headquarters is it was a Stephen North. No, south. The south, the northern headquarters is Kenyasi, and the south one is Hwidiam. Hwidiam, the police, you know, the security was better in Kenyasi, so they brought the ballot boxes to Kenyasi. And yet, when we went there to do the collation, military men had been sent from Sunyani to the place, the police and everything. And when we look at the problem, we could not declare A or B to be a winner because people were armed to the teeth with batons, with guns, and what have you, yes. So if you declared Party A as winner, you will not get out of the room. So we called the chairperson, you know, that was Dr. Farijan. We discussed that, Doc, this is the situation here. Then he asked, so what do you suggest? So we suggest that because of the security here, it's not too strong. We take the ballot boxes to Sunyani, our regional office. We had a big compound barricaded. So we go and do it there. So that was how we came out with the solution.
Thank you. But the most important thing is that for each of the irregularities, there are guidelines on them. But because the public may not know, that's why we are going ahead to publish them on our website and also give them the aid memoir so that clearly everybody will know that these are the steps that are happening. So as I said, if it's at the polling station and the candidates did not sign, it will not invalidate the results, and we will not wait for them. We will go ahead and declare. But if the person is there, and the person, if you look at the statement of the poll, it said, sign if you agree, and if you are refusing to agree, indicate the reason why you are refusing to sign. So if the person indicates on the paper the reason why he or she is refusing to sign, then to get to the returning officer, he will look at it and look at the merits of the case. If it needs to be attended to, it will. If they are just flimsy, we'll go ahead and declare the results. So that's how discrepancy about signing or not signing is addressed. If it is for our presiding officer not signing, we will not add the results, but we will ask him to come and sign. We will not say that we are throwing away the results, because it will not be fair for you to go and join the queue. Then at the end of the day, I wanted to use negative words, but I would that one mistake, somebody who mistakenly did not sign, will now invalidate your results. It will not be fair. So we'll ask him, come and sign the result in the presence of the constituency executive officers. So there was, because when he comes, the people will ask questions. Were you the one who filled the form? Why did you sign? Then based on explanation. And we believe that by then, the parties may have their copies already. Because the results will not come to constituency without the police station and party executive not having it. So once there's that collaboration, it will be done and the officer will be allowed to sign. If I give you a check to go to the bank and I forget to sign, the money will not be given to you, but it will not be taken from my account. Is that not the case? The word is that go and let the person sign. So not signing will not invalidate the results, not at all. Unless there's evidence that it is a foreign result declaration. It was not generated at the polling station. I remember in 1996, if Mr. Ahi and Elembele, in the course of the collation, somebody went there, stormed there, destroyed a lot of the papers. So what the commission did then was to invite the party agents to bring their results. And that was what sent Honorable Blade to the parliament for the first time with 11 votes difference. 11 votes difference. So giving the result to the candidate agents do go well for us, because in case we lose ours, we can fall on them. It happens in Zabutu at that time. It was one constituency. Thank you that you know. They nearly killed our officer. Our officer is now in the Shanti region. Not knowing that our officer's friend was flirting with one of the political parties, taking monies and the rest. Oh, the man said he would do it for you. So when the results came, more than 200 polling stations, and that party who was expecting good results was losing, they stormed the place. The way you are laughing, you are very conversant with the story. Okay, so you know the story very well. Thank you. They stormed the place, and none of the security person stayed. They all vanished. So it was left with Electoral Commission and do I say vandals? Maybe some people from Commonwealth are here. So, but these were vandals of different meaning. So they ran away. And the officer Ben Akanwe was holding the results like this and standing somewhere. Then somebody from behind. The man fell down. He was hospitalized for 3 months. You know him because you were in the region with him. 3 months. And when the man fell down, he was fortunate to be a northerner because he understands the language. So they read that if I attempt to prove that I am not dead, they will finish me. So he fainted that he was dead. And they throw the ballot box like this. They know how we do the cascading. Somebody used to clap. And then, yay! They destroyed more than 200 ballot boxes. But still, we depended on the party agents and we declared the results. I am saying all these things for you to tell people that no matter what we do, results will be declared. No matter what you do. Even if you kill all of us, other people come and do it. And if you look at what happened in 2008, yes, at time, we did the first round, no problem. The second round, 3 days to the election, somebody went and burnt the whole office at time, including all the ballot papers, everything in the room. That is why we couldn't conduct that election on the 28th of December. But still, we printed when they conducted the election, right? So no matter what we do, results will be declared. So let us tell the people there are procedures to address the issues. So if you have any issue, go through the procedure and have it rectified. Using variance bin will not stop the result declaration. I hope you all agree. Good. Now let's come to recount of ballots. The presiding officer has counted the ballot papers. But you think that the man was counting them, adding on. There was a video circulating that somebody was doing accounting and he jumped. And you see, please let us be very careful of AI. Everything that is good has its negative side. Don't be surprised that on the day of election you will see Kweku in this time of speaking the languages that I have never dreamt of. So I always say that the major threat to elections is misinformation and disinformation. Fake news. Fake news. Because they can capture me very well, the same voice, everything, but speaking in tongues. So let us be very careful the way things are done. So at the polling station, the agent, any of the agents, please, but not the observer. Underline that. An observer cannot request for recount. That's not a business. But any of the agents can request for recount. And the president of that is mandated, underlined, mandated to grant the recount. He's mandated. But if after the recount, the results tally with the first one, and somebody else comes and says that, do the recount again, or do the recount, the presiding officer has any right to say, I will not do it. But if the officer or the agent insists, the guidelines that it should be taken to the constituency office for the return officer to do the recount. I think that's very clear. So the first recount request is mandatory. Somebody may tolerate the second one if there are some discrepancies. But if to the mind of the presiding officer, it is not necessary, because there's no grounds for it, he can refuse. But if you insist, it should be moved to the constituency office for the return officer, who is a senior to the presiding officer, to do the recount in the presence of all the party agents and observers. And when that one is done, it is final, before that resource can be added to that. But the return officer has also the right to say that from what came from the ground, you are already being mischievous. Let's go ahead and use the votes. So it doesn't necessarily mean that when you go there, the return officer is bound to grant it. Because if everybody sees that you are just being mischievous, he will not add the resource. And I think we had one of such things at one of the Pro area in 2024. Yeah, we had one of the challenges. So the recount can be done at least once at the polling station. The others are discretionary. But when it is activated to the constituency, the return officer has the power to also do the recount. Therefore, when the recount request does not generate from the polling station, you cannot go to the constituency and be asking for recount. The law does not support that. Is it clear? You send your agent to the polling station. They went there, they did not challenge the results, they did not request for a recount. You cannot go to the constituency as a party executive member and be asking for a recount. And the parties are fond of doing that. It has no basis in law. Because you and I were not there. So those who were there did not challenge it. How come you at the constituency office coming to challenge? So the recount can only be done at the constituency office when it has been generated by the agent at the polling station. Because the decision of the agent at your center is binding on you. You sent them there. True of us. So you cannot request for recount at the collation center when it has not been generated from the polling station. All these things will be on our website and on our aid memoir. Now, I remember, is it 2000 or so? In Ajwasafu's place. Kwabenya, at that time, I was not at the head office. And in the news, especially the media persons, they are doing recount. The media themselves should know the terminologies. There's a difference between recollation and the recount. Because when you do that, you end up confusing the people. Because if you are sitting there, you know, Why are they doing the recount? But you call them and say, no, rather, they are requesting for recollation. So recollation just means that you are adding up the results from the lower field. Recollation at the constituency means that you are adding the results from the polling station. I think the biggest constituency is with 250 polling stations. But we have constituencies with 52 polling stations. So collation means that you have to add all the results. But please understand this. For parliamentary election, results can be declared minus even 50 results. And I want you to understand that. In constituency results, election result can be declared minus 50 of the results. If the 50 voters, total number of voters, when added to the second person, he will not catch up with the first person. You can go ahead and declare the results. In 2004, the results was declared minus 5 constituencies for the presidential. Minus 5. Because the results were not coming. If you give all the total voters in the 5 constituencies to the second person, still the first person will win. What do you wait? So results could be declared minus a certain number of polling stations or constituencies when the total voters in those areas cannot overturn the results. It can be done. So don't go and say that. They have declared the results. We are waiting for some polling station and they are declaring the results. If they will not have any effect, you can go ahead and declare. But if they will have effect like happened at a time, you have to go and conduct it. In the same vein, if you destroy a polling station ballots and the results so that it was not counted, if at the end of the day it is realized that the total number of the voters there cannot make the difference, we will not go and reconduct that election because it will not make any change. So that one could be done. This will also be captured on the website and the aid memo, but they are already in our manual. Now, at the collation center, an agent has the right to request for recollation. Those of you who observe the recent 3 by-elections, Dr. Computer, yes. You remember what they did in Kumawu? Yes. Can you tell us? Come again? We recollated. No, but we made a mistake somewhere and you brought it. Yes. It was about this rejected ballot. Correct. It wasn't tallied, so we have to. See, that is the transparency of it. Yes. We were doing the collation. We read that our officer, not the main result for the voters, but the rejected ballot, our officer keyed in the wrong figure. So it was the NDC people who said that they were losing there, no. But they were the one who told us that, look at the rejected ballot. That's a mistake. We will rectify it, and we rectify and tell it with them, we went ahead. And that's what we're going to do for 2024. The law recognizes the manual collation, but we have introduced another layer with respect to the electronic one, not electronic in the sense that it will be projected or sent outside, but at least they will do it while we do the manual. When we finish, we'll compare and reconcile. And we will be expecting the parties to do that. And one interesting story. I'm saying so because MPP and DC there have the strength to say it. If it was only one party, I would not say it. After Kumawu, MPP was teasing the NDC that they didn't do collation. And as enough, it turned, and it's the same thing. You remember? So when they are doing the collation, it's not going well for them, their computer will crash. So whereas NPP was teasing NDC at Kumawu, NDC was also teasing MPP at Asinoff. Because if it's going well with you, your machine will never crash. I didn't hear you. We had our results. We have always collated. Okay. But then this were teasing. No, they were asking you, bring your result. I remember they were asking you, bring your result for Asinoff. That's what they were saying. But because you have lost the power, the energy to contest. They don't even come there. That's exactly so. Because I was there. At Asinoff before I realized Dr. Computer, we are finished. Then immediately I realized that Akoyamo. Come again. No, you are contesting election, not necessary to win. but to add to the transparency and the credibility of the elections. No, agreed, but you are still needed. You see, let me tell you a story. I did my sixth form at Opokuwari with one called John Ajabin. He's late now. He contested on the MPP ticket in Aguna East in 2000, I think 2000. You know what happened? At a point in time, his people were jubilating that he has won. But he was left with 3 centers and he has gotten it. So he told them that they were pouring powder and he said, don't pour powder. I have lost. They said, no, they will not. Well, we have won by force. They will give it to him. So he told them that and he did a good job for us. So he went at the coalition center, told his people that when he added that 3 votes, he has lost, so nobody should disturb the Electoral Commission. But other than that, it would have been disaster. But the people were jubilating. They have won. Then you are going to tell them that you have lost. Electoral Commission, why wasn't the William? You understand? So when you lose, for fairness and transparency, what stops you from saying that, yes, we have done their coalition, this is your results, and it tells you what the Electoral Commission is. It tells you that you are a good competitor. Next time you come again. But you don't say, because I've lost, I am gone. We are gone, but your supporters will be there. And your supporters can create a lot of problems for us. So if generally you have won, let your people know that you have done the coalition, the result is fair. You have lost. Go and prepare yourself and come again. So I don't agree with you that once you have lost, you should leave the place. No. So it is normal that in our elections, hardly will you see MPP and NDC at the end of the coalition. Hardly. I'm mentioning their name because they normally get the biggest vote. Oh, I understand. No, I am not disputing that. But I just want to say that you should also go into a lesson with at the back of your mind that you may win, you may lose. You should go to an election. Don't think that I'm going to an election that I've already won. You are not the one who determines who wins. It is the voters. So respect the voters. Stand there, finish, sign your copy, and go. That's all. Because if you don't go, you are giving room for a lot of stories. If this is to concede defeat in an election, it's one of the best things that you can do to save the country. Because if the top people are saying they have lost, who are you, what word should I use? The grassroots person to go and be fighting when your top people are saying they have lost. So if mistakes have happened, let's address the mistakes. But if genuinely you know you have lost, concede and tell your people, let's go and prepare and come the next time. Who knows? I hope you agree now. So who has not been signing? So what I'm saying is that at the constituency center, you can request for recount, and the recount will be granted for you. And when that is done, and it tallies with the first one, you don't need to ask for another recollation, right? And as I said this time, we are going to project it. So if you don't do your own collation, help us whilst we are doing the collation. The media too will be there, and when we finish, it will be done. Dr. Computer, he's saying that if you don't do it, you copy ours and put it on your model. So the same procedure applies to the regional collation. We are aware that NDC didn't like the regional collation, but we think that it is adding to the transparency of the system. Let me tell you this. At least I've been a deputy regional director for some elections. I've been a regional director for some elections. And anybody here, my colleagues know that, even though you are not at the collation center, it is the regional director who will send the results to the national, not the constituency. And every regional director will have to sign the results. So you are taking the results, you sign before you send. So we are now saying that instead of just signing and signing, you do the addition yourself. So you can get the result for the region. That's the difference. That's the difference. And then, the joy in that. The party agents are there. And I remember in 2020, Mr. Rojo Nunu, he's not here, so, but I'm saying, when we granted the accreditation to the political parties, NDC did not submit Mr. Rojanunu's name. So when I was going to the coalition center, I saw Professor White with his computer, Rojanunu with the computer. Then the people have stopped Mr. Rojanunu because he doesn't have the accreditation. So when I went, but you requested for 4 years, granted. Why are you not bringing somebody who was not accredited? They said that is their decision. I said, so I told them, you just allow them to go for peace to prevail. So I myself, you can ask President, you can ask Rojo, took him in there. And the man said that after you go to heaven. He went there, the results were being faxed to the national. And they were 16 fax machines, one dedicated to each region. So when they fax, once it is broken, it is well labeled. So once this one, the results are coming from here. We were doing that as friends, taking our tea with biscuit. Underline tea with biscuit. Then when the voter regime came, I said, I wish you have the results. I said, at least you've seen that your party regional executive have signed. So why don't you ask them whether this result is a true reflection of what happened over there? I didn't hear anything. Then we added. Then the Ashanti region came, difference of about 1 million. They said that they know the difference of about 600,000. I said it was Sambra Bujejemfi, called Bujejemfi. If you contest it, then we can be listening to you. Because you are not there, I'm also not there. But it has been Sambra Bujejemfi. I know Madam Betty Modidrusu was there and the rest. So I said, ask them. So they went, and that is time they said they were going to see the chairperson. They have questions with the results. I was going ahead with my work. But what I was doing that, when the first comes, I will go photocopy and give it to all of them there, so that you can talk to your people, and before we add and we'll move. So he went there, but before he went, he had already taken the tea with biscuit. So he went there, the secretary decided to offer him tea and biscuit, so that I would take the tea, but I will not take the biscuit. And the irony of it, we are all friends though. So when the NDC was doing the presidential elections, Roger was supporting Dr. Dufo, right? So he was coming to greet me. But he said, you didn't know who I was bringing the results. Now am I a good person for you to come? He said that you only understand why you become a politician. That's what he told me. That's why I said that at times when they are speaking and lambasting, and you also need to be careful. You don't take the law into your hand. Because the very person who is saying may not even believe in what he himself is saying. You understand? So that's how it went on. So you can request for recollation at the constituency. You can request for recollation at the regional. And you can also request for recollation at the national level. There are no results that will be collated without the involvement of the political parties. But as he said, if you are losing, it's difficult. But going to an election with an understanding that it is a win or lose affair. There's no draw in an election. Have you heard? So that two people will share the presidency or parliamentary, it's not possible. So whatever it is, one will win. But if you are being cheated, request for the necessary anomaly. That's why there are guidelines on it. And we are going to put all these guidelines on our website and also develop the aid memoir so that each level will have how to handle it, how to handle it, and how to handle it. Now, the next issue is about overvoting. What is overvoting? Sitting here, I can't give you a definition. Standing here. The reason is, as of a classical one is that when the vote cast is more than the total registered voters. That's what anybody can do. But where there's a difference of 1 or 2, it becomes very difficult to assess because it is human beings who are doing the work. And if care is not taken, they say that once the difference is 1, cancel the whole results. If I know what I will do, I will give money to people for the stronghold of the opponent, try and add 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So I can be canceling them. Isn't a possibility? So the commission is developing a guidelines about that, so that we'll see that when this happens, how you go about. Because if it is a classical one, no issue. But if the difference 1 or 2, but less than the number of voters in the constituency, then you need to do a lot of investigation. You need to do a lot of investigation. Other than that, that becomes avenue for people to become rich. Because if you are presiding officer, you can get 1,000 and just add 1 vote to the votes. I know this player will lose. But if you add that, result will be cancelled. Are you getting me? So we are developing serious guidelines which will also be on a memoir on our website, so that we can address that.
There is what we call reconciliation.
Please come here.
Reconciliation. After the voting is ended and the good ballots, excluding the spoiled, are in the ballot box, when you open the box and then you pour all the ballot boxes on the table, you have to, you have records of people who have voted per the register and per the machine and so on. You count the ballot boxes, the ballot papers, face down, so that you don't see whether this ballot is for party A or party B. You count them to see whether the total you get in the ballot box agrees with what you have per the register. You see, this is to help avoid a situation where when you see that somebody is winning by 1 vote, or this and then you make it overvoting. You get the total ballots inside the box. Before later you start to distribute them according to the candidates for whom the vote has been cast. So if the overall ballots in the box is say 300, and you had 4 candidates, after sharing, this one will have this one will have that, this other, some may be rejected. Okay. If you put all the rejected and the valid votes together, they should agree with the overall ballots that you counted previously before the sorting. You see it? If you do it that way, it will be difficult for people to, say we are passing one to it to change the results.
Thank you. Now, I want to also say that
We will come to the question and answer.
I want to say that when we finish nomination, this time we are doing from the 9th to the 13th of September. 9th September to 13th September, we will do the nomination. When we finish with that, we will ballot for the positions on the ballot papers. The parties are aware. So we'll do 2 forms of balloting. The first one is to determine who should pick first. So we'll do that one, assuming Mark takes number 4. Meaning that when we are going to pick for the balloting, he'll be the first person to pick. If I pick number 1, when it comes to the picking the position, I'll be the one to pick, and goes like that. So you may pick 1 for the first round, but you may pick 10 for the second round. It's the last one that determines the position on the ballot. Once that is done, it reflects the positions at the constituency. So the same arrangement will follow. But where maybe for presidential 2020 there were 12, but here there are only 4, then it goes like, for example, the first candidate for presidential is also, the party is contesting for parliamentary, that will be number 1. The second candidate is not contesting parliamentary, so the third person will have to move. So that adjustment will follow. So that it will not be like, because you took 9 here, there should be 9 there when there are 3 candidates. How we are getting it? So that is how we determine it. But this year, what we are also going to do again is that we are expecting that possibly some of the parties may not contest the presidential. Right? So assuming 2 parties at the constituency were not on the presidential ballot, they will ballot for them today. So there was, but the presidential one will follow. Then the next 2 candidates who are on political party platform will also pick. So there will be balloting for presidential and balloting for parliamentary if there are parties who are contesting the parliamentary but do not contest the presidential. So that will be done. Now, once those things are done, every party will know his or her its position on the ballot. Then we will write to that's what we have been doing anyway. It's not new thing. We will write to the political parties. We are doing our printing at these places. This region will be here. That region will be there. That. Then they will bring their agents. They will be with us. What the Ghana Police Service also provide security people. They will be with us throughout the printing. If it will take 1 month, we will be there. They will go on shift and the rest. Now, every ballot paper is also given a serial number. So they will know everything. When we finish, we'll bag them according to their regions and down to their districts. So what we do is that if you take one constituency, how many polling stations? Then in that polling station, how many voters? So you print the total number plus 5%. So we'll do that, then cumulatively you get that of the constituency. You put the constituency together, cumulatively you get that of the region. Then the region one will be bagged, but each constituency will have its separate bag. Then we will put our series on them. Give the serial number ranges to the political parties. That's what we'll be doing. Then the parties who want to, and I also know that MPP and DC will bring, they will also put their series on. We'll put them in our van, padlock the van. The parties also padlock the van. The police and the Electoral Commission will escort the van, and this MPP at least will also escort the van. We will all move to the regional police command, and there will be the regional executives will meet us at the regional police command. Then there are documentation, serial number of the ballot papers for each of them. They will be transferred. So the regional executives will get their transfer from the national executives. We will also give us ours to our regional office. Then the police will also do same. Then the Accra people will return. Then they want to open, and the parties will transfer their keys to them. So whereas our regional data will open the van, they will also open. Then the materials are brought out and put at the where they keep their armory. Then we are gone. The district will also come and pay from the region at an agreed date, the same procedure. Then it will follow and get to the constituency. So all the parties will know that for this constituency, these are the serial number ranges of our ballot papers. They know. And they will also fix a date. They will go there and do the distribution to the polling stations. And when that is done, they also take the records. On the day of election, the ballot box is transparent, but we still open it, right? For people to see whether there are some smuggled papers in them. Then when the voting is ended, as my senior is saying, you do the ticking on the register. So we have two registers, one for the name reference list, one for the main register, the counterfoil, and the BVD machine. All these four should tell you the same story. Are you getting me? There's a name reference list, which arranges the name alphabetically. So once they see it, they will tick. Then they'll tell them, go to the register, page this, you can see the name there. So the register too will also be ticked. Then the BVD machine will also be doing the verification. So it will also come out with a figure. So these three shouldn't be. Then when you are detaching the ballot papers, you detach them from the stock. So the counterfoil will also tell you the ballot papers that have been minus the spoiled ones, because the spoiled one did not go into. So when you do all these things, it is expected that you should have knowledge of how many ballot papers are there. That's why you can do the reconciliation to mark. Then the counting is done openly. If I were to be doing it here, you will help me to do the counting. Maybe I start 1, 2, today you take over. That's how it is done, right? Then they are all recorded. If you want to call for recount, it is done. When that they are recorded on the paper, then parties take a copy. And now, mandatory, you are going to paste a copy of the result at the polling station. But I'm advising you, don't wait for that. Because the next 2 hours, you will not see it. Somebody will pick it and go and also paste it in his room. That's what happens. Even the posters that we paste, the posters, somebody will use it to decorate his room. So don't, by law we are putting it there, but I don't expect that you will see it in the next 3 days. I don't expect it. It will be gone. But the parties should have their copies so that they can now follow the collation. It goes to the constitution. And the reason why I like ours is that there's always a paper trail. I standing here, I will never recommend you voting for now because we don't trust ourselves. In 2016, when we were even faxing the result from the region to national, there was allegation that somebody was intercepting the fax machines at the airport. So you take it from the fax, you do correction, and put it back into the fax, then come to the region. some of the stories, and you see highly educated people propagating such stories. So that's how it goes. Then the coalition at all levels are done, the results are declared. For parliamentary, it is done at the constituency level. Once that is declared, nobody at the region or national can alter it. Then the national one is the chairperson who declares. And the law says that whoever is to be declared should have more than 50%. So once somebody gets the 50%, we are off, we'll gazette it. If nobody gets 50%, 21 days we'll go for runoff. We've done runoff in 2000 and 2008. I don't know what will happen in 2024. God, I said, I don't know. I didn't ask you, I seek your view. I said, I don't know. God will determine what happens. Okay. Okay. So I think I'm done. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Serbo Kweku. I think his presentation has been very insightful and detailed enough. He's covered a lot of the questions that you and I might want to ask him. But then again, on the program, we do have a question and answer segment. And so I think I would very much want to go straight into that. But before I do that, I would like to acknowledge the presence of some dignitaries here. We do have Mr. Joseph Allen from the EU. Is he here or he stepped out? He just stepped out. We also have Mr. Jonas Kleis of the EU. Yes, in our midst. Earlier, Dr. Kweku introduced Mr. Albert Ahin, who is now with Codeo. He used to be with the EC. And then we also have Mr. Augustine Okran, who was a former director of elections at the EC. A round of applause for them. I have also seen Dr. Andrews Doche, who is the executive director of the School for Continuing and Distance Education of the University of Ghana Annual New Year School. Doc, you're very welcome. Thank you for making time to be here. I can see Madame Bridget Jogbenuku, who was the flag bearer for the PPP at the last elections, and she's in our midst today. Thank you for making time to be here. In the course of the program, I'm sure I'll have a few more names to acknowledge. But let me also acknowledge the presence of our media persons. We have quite a remarkable participation here. I can see lots of cameras, about 9 or 10 cameras around. Can I just ask randomly if we have Daily Graphic in our midst? Yes, we have Daily Graphic. What about Ghanaian Times? Ghanaian Times is here. GNA, Christopher is here. GBC? Yes, GBC is here. Media General? Wow. City is here. Star or GH1? Oh, wow, they're here too. Ghana Web? Wow. We're so grateful for coming over. Any other media houses I haven't acknowledged? Multimedia. Okay. And Metro Television is here as well. We're extremely grateful for coming to cover this program. And I'm sure the presentation has been so detailed that you'd go back reporting accurately. But for now, I would like us to, because there are still aspects of our presentation that I believe you might ask questions on. And Dr. Serbo Kweku, with regard to the timelines for the publication on your website, because if there are disputes with the results, my understanding is that there are about 21 days or so where that has to be determined. What are the timelines? Because the timelines for publishing these on your website can also facilitate or determine how quickly the disputes are resolved. If you can answer to that, please.
Thank you very much. What we are planning to do is that all the collated results, constituency, regional, and national, should be on our website before the final declaration of the results. But for the polling station, we are planning to do that before the deadline for petitioning a presidential results. Because once we are not doing electronic tallying and declaration, you need to be scanning the polling station results. And we are talking about 41,000. So we need to also be very careful. We don't say that you can do that before you declare the results. Because in Ghana, if you take 2020, we declared within 48 hours. Within 48 hours. So how can you collect them? But our intention is that for constituency results, regional results, and national results, they should be on our website before the final declaration of the presidential results. But for the polling station one, we are planning to put them there before the deadline for petitioning presidential election results are over. So that's what we are planning to do. Thank you. But the other issue is that some of them too, you cannot determine, assuming there's a litigation on it, you cannot put it there when it is being litigated. So at times circumstances may also affect the plan. Thank you.
I was going to ask Prof to answer the next set of questions before. Maybe you might want to stand with me for a bit because...
No, I'll be a good guy.
Great. Thank you. Yes, but Prof, before you do so, can we just ask Mr. Yes, okay. Yes,
Yeah, let me just stand here and see if I
right.
I know we're going to meet him, but there's something that I want the group here to be thinking about, maybe before we meet the EC. Something happened to me when I was the Director of Elections for the EC. No, not Director for Elections, but when I was the Regional Director for the Eastern Region. There was this result that came from Fantiakwa. And strangely enough, the NPP cheated the NDC by 10,000 votes. Yeah, it's like it was forged, added to the constituency result in Fantiakwa. So at that time, we were using the scoreboards. The result came from Fantiakwa. We had put it on the regional scoreboard at the Justice Park in Kufudia. The NPP had won. But I think the NDC did so well, sat down, did their calculation, and in the final analysis saw that they had been cheated by 10,000 votes, you can imagine. So they came to us and complained. They had written a letter. So we had to recall all the ballot boxes from Fantiakwa. And that night we never slept. We did a recount of the ballots. And indeed they had been cheated by about 10,000 ballots. And the cheek of it was that, excuse me, the returning officer was even going around jubilating for the winner. A returning officer who is supposed to be neutral was going around jubilating. So we thought that anomaly was to be corrected. Meanwhile, at the national scoreboard in Accra, the NPP had won. It had been boldly displayed. I'm saying this because of the result tabulation that we are talking about right here. So I'm trying to tell Kweku and the EC that if we have a thing of that nature happening, at that time, all I did was to go to the regional minister to tell him that the EC had made a mistake. Rang Aferijan, Dr. Aferijan, also to tell him that a mistake had been committed. How about the masses, the people who are receiving the results? How do you change it? And remember, that was the year they wrote the stolen verdict. 90, 96, yeah. The student body was written in 96. 96, yeah. This thing happened in 96. So what I'm trying to say is that it's about time we had something put down, like a corrective measure. What do you do when you have a thing like this happening? At that time, we just buga buga. I just told Dr. Afroja that we have to correct it at the regional level and correct it at the national level. We did the correction, but was this the right thing to do? Just to say that because the mistake had been made, you just go and rub it and then write the correct one there? This is what we're supposed to be doing right now. How do we correct these mistakes when they occur? How do we correct the mistakes when they occur? At that time we did it, but was it the right thing to do? I'm trying to appeal to the EC that we should try to devise a form, get something put down by way of a sheet, a corrective sheet, so that when we have mistakes of this nature, we will do the correction, let the other parties sign that this is what happened, and this is the corrective measure. This was the solution that was found for it. You see, that was done at that time, but is it right? Can you just go to the scoreboard and clean it and write the right thing there? We need to make sure that we put it on record. So we should be thinking about it. Then again, was it the last election when the Electoral Commissioner was declaring the results and she made a mistake? Yeah. There was a slip of tongue. A mistake was genuinely made. But you and I saw what happened. People were saying that the results were read 3 times. You know, they were not happy about it. They were not happy. Till date, people have been talking about it. And I'm saying that, or Cordeo is trying to say that, what do we do when, for example, I'm announcing results and I made a mistake, and then I correct? Can't we put it down, write it so that we sign for records purposes, or we just leave it like that? So now that we are on the verge of trying to devise a formula, and I'm happy you said that you are going to put it on the website with aid memoirs and other things to assist, so that later on people can refer and know that this mistake was made. This was the corrective measure that was taken. Maybe we can even get a sheet with a different color for correcting these mistakes at the polling station level, at the collation center level, at the national level. When a mistake is made and you correct it, we use a certain sheet, we sign, and then it's put on record. So this is my small contribution that I want to make here. We will be meeting you, but think about it. Like the auditors have been doing, using the green pen to cancel. If, for example, a mistake has been made at the police station level and the agent is not there, we use a certain sheet to do the correction. We send it to them to sign, and we keep it as a record. So this is a small contribution that I've wanted to
For you.
I will come to you.
No, it's not. It's on what he said.
Yes, I will give you the floor in due time.
No,
I just want him to respond to that.
No,
Please respect
because he said the MP cheated. I want that one.
So you will have the
It's a mistake,
opportunity.
so he has to take it out.
You will
So
have
we
the
take
opportunity.
exception to that.
Talk about that issue.
So that is what I want you to correct. That is it.
Did I say the NPP cheated? No, I'm sorry. No, the NPP didn't cheat. It was a returning of, sorry, please. Please sit down, you are right. You are right. It wasn't the NPP that cheated. The returning officer added 10,000 to the votes. I'm happy you have drawn my attention to it. Sorry, I'm very sorry. Sorry.
Hello? Hello? I think what Mr. Ahin is saying happened in 1996. And as we improved on the processes. I think if you remember, I said that we are going to use both the manual and the projected this thing. And once everybody is there, I think some of these things cannot happen. Again, this time around, we are using customized declaration of results. So you go there, every polling station has the statement of the poll, which you call the pink sheet, with everything recorded, pre-recorded, the name, everything. So we are not encouraging the use of another form. We want to keep the paper trail. So what we're saying is you cancel, you write, and you sign. So that at any point in time, what was there exactly. So because if you are to encourage people to use different sheets, then somebody will declare the result somewhere, go another 10 steps, use another form, and they get different results. So we said that the result that was declared at the polling station, let us see it, so that all of us will see that this was the mistake that had been rectified. So we are not going to use additional form. And all the statement of poll are this time pre-coded with the name of the polling station, so that you cannot take code from this place to another place and use it. Again, I don't know whether I said it, for the collation, we are not going to open it to the public. We want to avoid impeachment. So all parties will have agents at the collation center. All observers will have reps at the collation center. And the media will be accepted. They will all be there. So that when we are doing the collation, they will do that, and all the parties are represented. So it's not somebody who has no knowledge at all about collation who will determine the result is being rigged. So if all the agents are there, talk of party reps are there, the media is there, observers are there, I believe they can now go and tell the story. Because if you do it and open it to the public, one person will say, Jack, and the place is stormed. So that's what we are going to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc. I would like to acknowledge the presence of these political parties. I did mention the PPP. I think she's just stepped out. The NDC.
Computer.
Yes, please, let's acknowledge your presence. Yes, thank you.
They are friends, though.
Thank you. And then the NPP.
They are all from Tamale.
You're with the MPP? Yes, so we're acknowledging your presence. If you can just wave. Yes, and and your position, and what's your position?
I'm the Deputy General Secretary.
The Deputy General Secretary. You're very welcome. And then the LPG, yes, and you are Director of Elections and National Organizer. Right, thank you for coming. You're very welcome. And I can see APC. APC here. Hello. Yes, please, let's. The National Women's Organizer. Right, so you're very welcome. But your name, madam? Pardon me? You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Movement for Change. Oh, wow. Okay. You're welcome. Sir, your name? Frank Ohene Okreku. Very welcome. Thank you for coming. And finally, the PNC. PNC. And you are?
I'm the National Youth Organizer.
National Youth Organizer. Thank you so much for coming. So now, before I open the floor for any set of questions and contributions, I think I would like to start with my prof. He has a few questions for. Yes, please. Please do.
Thank you very much, Dr. Srebo Kweku. And I have effectively taken out the first name that I gave you. Okay. I have learned a lot from your presentation, but just a few questions bothering my mind. One, you have promised to publish polling station by polling station results before the expiry of the 21-day limit for filing petitions. But before is not a time. If I have only 21 days and you publish these results 2 days before the expiry, it will be very difficult for me as a party or a candidate to put together my petition. So it is very necessary for the EC to make sure that even though they promise to publish it before the expiry of the 21-day limit, they publish it early enough so that those who want to go to court to challenge will have the data to go by. That's the first point. The second point I want to make has to do with the concessionary payment of deposits by candidates. You do that to encourage women and people with disability, as many of them as possible, to contest the election. Unfortunately, your efforts are cancelled out by the very high fees charged by the parties at the primaries level. The primaries come 1 year, 2 years before your election. And at that level, they are charging such high fees that even if they give 50% concession, the amount of money women and people with disabilities still have to cough before they can become candidates. And it is at that level where the number of women, the number of PWDs can be determined. So maybe you should coordinate with the political parties so that the two of you will know how to reduce the thing to the... If you are given 25% concession, maybe the party should give 75%. So you should coordinate. Then the other point I have is about the degree of disability. We all talk of people with disability, but you take two people with disability, they are very different. The degrees very different. Do you factor into your concession the degree of disability? I'll stop here.
Thank you once again. I think the first one is on. The timelines. You see, for me, and the little experience that I have, if you get the constituency resource, regional resource, and the national resource, it should give you almost every information that you need. Because the polling station results that are collated together. So if you have the constituency results, the regional results, and the national results, I think you have enough information. So by the time you will get a polling station, you will have known where the issues are. Because we shouldn't rush also to publish something that at the end of the day we say that you have to put them down. So, and I've told you that because the polling station results are not in soft copy, they are hard copy that are going to be scanned. And we're talking of 41,000 plus. We should hasten slowly. But I believe that because the constituency results are just 276, it can easily be scanned and put there. The regional 116, it can easily be done. And the national is just one. So that one, let's start with that. Whereas we are working on because at the polling station results, I believe the political parties can also have it. But for us to put them there, we should be sure that the figures are done, the scanning is well done. So that we don't do it and later we say that we made a mistake, let's put them down. So let's start with the fact that on the day that we are going to declare the results, the collated results at all the levels should be ready. Then we can take our time. Yes.
Sure, we ask that question, having in mind the fact that we are also trying to set a deadline. You know, we have the presidential one now to be 42 days. There's also a move to get the parliamentary one also set within the same perimeter. And I'm sure you asked that question because you wanted somebody who wants to petition to be within the time. Sure, that is the reason why.
I agree with you, but my question back is that on what is the person going to petition? Because for you to say they are going to petition, mean that you have detected some errors. Is that not the case? So if you have detected the errors, those errors should reflect in the constituency results. It should reflect in the regional, and it should reflect in the national. They can't come in a vacuum. That is my understanding. So we get these three. Whilst you're working on, then we are uploading the polling station, because we should not rush and make mistakes that cannot be rectified. Because if you do that and mistakes are done, there will be discrepancies, and that will be more serious for us. So we should hasten, but slowly. The next one is with the political parties. It will be extremely difficult for the Electoral Commission to tell the political parties that when you are doing your primaries, charge this or charge that. So the attention should rather go to them, not us. Because I don't think the parties will agree. And you see, incidentally, by law, it is the national executive election that is mandatory for us to organize. The parties can decide not to even bring us in at all and submit the names of their candidates. It's not mandated, including the presidential. It is only that because they also want to bring in transparency that they bring us in. It is not our responsibility. So for us to go and tell them that give this rebate and that way, what we have the mandate, that we have the power, we are doing that. But we should all be engaging them so that it becomes like national dialogue, not Electoral Commission with the political parties. Other than that, they will come and beat us. The last one, disability. It will interest you to know that on Tuesday, I don't know whether they are here, I had a meeting with them. And the degree also determines the demands. For example, one of the issues that they raised on Tuesday, which I said it is practically impossible, was for us to get a sign interpreter at each polling station. And I said, we have 41,000. If you have the money, do we have 41,000 interpreters in Ghana? It's not. So what we are doing now is that from one area we use to register the people, we have column that indicates the type of disability. So we have the statistics on them. So those who indicated that they have A, B, C, and then, because we now introduce the tactile for the blind and the rest, we can easily look at the register and tell you that these polling stations have people with visual impairment. This place has, so in that case, you can tackle that. But for the whole country, it will be too utopic. So we will do as much as possible, but we are in dialogue with them, so we will know which disability is going. Because each disability is about its demands. And that I told them, that if you take the people with speech impairment, the when you meet them until they talk, you wouldn't know they are impaired. Is that not the case? So you cannot look at somebody in the face and say that you are, yes. So it depends on the level of impairment. And each impairment too, because if the person is physically disabled, and you look at, previously the screen was high. Because of them, we have brought it down, that they can sit on the machine and still do the thumb printing. So we look at the issues and we address them, but we cannot have one solution as a jacket for everybody. So that is the issue, that I would say.
So, Doc, I would still like to keep you here because the microphones are here and the media houses would want to capture your response. But thank you so much. May I do a little digress to acknowledge the presence of representatives of the Affirmative Action Bill Coalition. If you're here, please show it by hand and we'll give you a round of applause. Thank you so much and congratulations for the passage of the... Yes, and so we congratulate you. We're waiting for the president's accent. But if there are any issues related to the elections that you would want to draw attention or contribute to, please feel free to raise your hand when we throw the floor out for questions. And so, yes, Isaac, could you please bring the microphone around? So I have three gentlemen here. You might have to maybe perhaps come and then do your submissions here. So on my extreme right, yes, please.
Okay, Doc, thank you very much for your...
I don't know if the media houses can still capture you right there, or you'd want to come and stand here? You're okay? Right. So please fire away.
Much, Doc, for your presentation. I don't want to say that here. But the good thing is that I met Doc in 2018. We were all part of the ECOWAS observer mission in Mali during the presidential election. So thank you very much for your presentation. My question has to do with the waiver you spoke about. I think it has also some connection with Dr. Jonah's question. You talk about people with disability and also the female candidate. I think that is a very good, positive aspect you people have, taken for this election. But my concern has to do with young people. So is there any special treatment for young people who want to vie for presidency or other position when it comes to election? Thank you very much.
The next question, please. Please mention your name.
Yeah, my name is Frank
and your organization.
I think Doc talked about putting 8 memoirs on the website. Yes. And then, yeah, the instructions on the website and then producing the 8 memoirs. From experience, I've realized that now the commission has stopped engaging stakeholders at the district level, at the regional level. And normally, violence will start at the polling station level. And the polling station agents, most of the things we are talking here, they don't even know. Formerly, we were training them and telling them some of these things. But this time, there is nothing like that. We have left it in the hands of the parties to go and train their own agents. And when they do that, they rather train them what they can do to make sure that if it is the stronghold of somebody, of a party, they can create confusion and other things. So I believe if we engage the stakeholders at the grassroots, because the violence starts at the grassroots, they will appreciate and they will understand some of the things that we have said over here. Most of the engagements are done at the national level. They are done at the national level. The commission comes out with a nice timetable. At the regional level, meeting the press will come to the office and ask you, according to our timetable, you are supposed to meet us and talk to us. Nothing like that happens. Resources do not go down there. So regional directors, district officers, there is nothing that they could do. So I would just plead that we can engage these stakeholders at the grassroots level, because they rather go to the center to go and monitor the elections.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And would kindly ask that as you ask your questions or make your contributions, you are as brief as possible. You can only have a minute to ask your questions so that we can wrap up very quickly and end the program. So after the third question, we'll ask Doc to respond to them.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doc. Mine is not a question. Mine is a caution. And I would direct it to the Electoral Commission. In as much as you are conducting elections and we have registered voters, we have children. My name is Kwabna Ukanyofo Sehene, and I'm with a Bibi Man Foundation. In as much as all of us are registered voters, there are citizens who, by law, are not voting because they haven't reached that age. And whatever we do will impact on their future. So I am pleading with the EC. I am pleading with the political parties. There are tensions across the world. Most countries that we never expected to have crisis are in crisis. We should make sure this country or this election don't turn into any other thing. because there are people who are not part of what we are doing, but they are going to suffer most. Some of us are privileged to have completed education, so even if we should run away from this country, we can go and start our lives somewhere. But the children cannot. If we should stop and fight in this country for a year, it's going to impact on a lot of lives. So this is just a caution to all of us.
Thank you.
And I'll say that the life of the children are in the hands of the EC. Whatever they will do, history will report it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we'll pause here for Doc to respond to the questions before we take the next set of questions. So, Doc?
Thank you very much. I think the question from my friend is with respect to whether there will be waiver for the young people. For now, I say no. We have not considered them. The question again will be, is it the young people? So the question is, what is the definition for the young people? Somebody will say up to 40 years. Because if at 35 you cannot contest presidential. So are we saying that we should give the waiver to all the parliamentary candidates? Okay. I will carry it up, but for now, the young people do also have money. Okay. So I will carry it up, but for now, and what I know is what I've delivered. We catered for people with disability and female candidates. With Mr. Okreku, who used to be with us, we previously, Ghana was not seen as mature democracy. So we used to have a lot of support from the development partners for such engagements. And basically, all these engagements are sponsored. Those days from the NIDA, from USA, the European Union, what have you. So once the European Union people are here, I think we can put the request to them that they should help us so that we can do a lot of engagement to the various levels. In those days, even APAC were being sponsored by the development partners. So those who were attending will read that when they attend, they were getting transport and feeding. Was it lunch? Yes, this time all those things have ceased. With the exception of lunch at the national level. Previously at the polling station, so that the region and the district level, they were catered for, but those things are not coming. In 2020, it was 100% sponsored by Ghana. No development partners paid anything for the 2020. And as at now, we have not seen any sign, because they are saying that we are now a matured democracy. So unless we tell them that we are not yet matured, so they should come. Because they are also looking at attention to those who are growing up than us. So we continue to tell them that we are not as matured as they are thinking. So they should come here and support them. The same thing for the training of political parties. They were all sponsored. Then the last one was talking about the fate of our young ones. But I don't agree with him with the last statement that it's in the hand of the Electoral Commission. Election is collective responsibility, stakeholder issue. No matter how Electoral Commission will do the election, if the parties decide that they will not agree, they will not agree. So everybody has a responsibility towards our youth. Electoral Commission should give us credible election. Political parties should do fair campaigning and accept the result if it is a genuine, they don't have any issues against the results. The media should give fair coverage to everybody. The media should give fair coverage. The police should arrest and prosecute people who are offending the law. In Ghana now, once you offend and you commit any electoral offense, you say they have been arrested with all the publicity. The next 1 month, they are dead. You can't hear anything. And the judiciary should also give penalty to people who need to be punished. If you all do all these things, then we can get the peace that we are talking of. So it is a collective building. And the CSOs, including yours, should also be engaging people to be doing what is right. So it is a collective responsibility. It should not be left at the doorstep of only the, including the people who are the affirmative people. Our wives and sisters.
Thank you, Doc. Yes, we will take a few more questions. What time is it? It's almost getting to 12:30. But let me first announce here that next week, Tuesday, that's Tuesday the 13th of August, IDEC would hold another program here. It's the Ghana Speaks platform. It's a forum, and we'll be addressing disenchantment of marginalized groups for healthy democracy and transformational development. And this is a youth, media, women, PWDs focused forum. So we're inviting all of you again to come over next Tuesday at 10 a.m. So any more questions? Yes, the gentleman here, the lady, and then the other gentleman, and I'll come to Mr. Kleiss. Okay, so.
Thank you very much. My name is Mark Ewusi Akon.
Your name again?
Mark Ewusi Akon.
Mark Ewusi, yeah.
I know election is a process. And so it is very difficult for some of us to just accept some mistakes that the Electoral Commission commits, because we see the Commission to be one of the institutions that carries a very high integrity, and its credibility cannot also be downplayed. But at moments where declaration of results comes in, go back, it's noted that it is a mistake, and comes back again, I see that to be a sort of consistent mistakes. And a commission like what we have, like the Electoral Commission, some of these mistakes cannot be committed and we just allow it to go. In other jurisdictions, the first and second attempt, you hear fire crying somewhere. And we do not want to see that. And so the Electoral Commission, in as much as it can, should be able to try to give out credible results that will not mean that they'll have to go and come back again. My next thing has to do with the way the EC comes out with its results. We are in a more technological world where if we give ourselves just within few minutes, the media can collate results from across the country and put it out there. But here we are trying to do away with misinformations. And so if the media can do this in a couple of hours, we expect that the Electoral Commission should be able to put up some adequate IT infrastructure to lead the declaration of the results, rather than probably the media coming out with the results that will lead to some misinformation. I know that it is good to take our time to put our results together. It is the same thing the media is also doing. So if the challenge has to do with IT infrastructure or to back up whatever the EC is doing, they should try and do it. Give us realistic and reliable data so that we can all have trust in whatever information they are giving us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Thank you very much. My actually is not a question.
Your name and then the organization.
My name is Benisna. I'm a member of the Affirmative Action Bill Coalition.
Yeah.
And I just want to commend EC for actually taking into consideration gender equity in terms of the election processes. They are already taking into consideration preferences of the vulnerable, that's the women and persons with disability, and I think this is commendable. I just want to appeal that it is important to always sensitize, because we have the manual that would educate people on the processes and procedures in elections. So I'm just appealing, if this is possible, it should be intensified at the grassroots and also at this level. It should be more than just once.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you. Third question.
Good afternoon. My name is Mahmoud Mohammed. I work for Oxfam in
Hello,
Ghana.
Mahmoud.
I just have one question for Dr. Siribu, and thank you very much for the insightful presentation. I think at the beginning, or even looking at the recommendations we're seeking to look at, one of them is rejected ballots. And honestly, in the discussion, I haven't really heard a lot about how the Electoral Commission would work together with sister, if you like, institutions to reduce this. Because if you look at the trend, it is a worry for many democracy watchers. From 99 up to date, it's been increasing. So if you look at 2008, for instance, over 200,000 rejected votes were recorded in the first round. And 200,000, I believe, that vote could have probably made a change in the first round. In other words, it could actually help us to avoid a second round. In 2020, it was over 300,000. Now, what it means is that it's a big issue, and I would like to hear from Dr. Siribu how we intend to reduce it, because it should not be part of our elections. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Doc, I would want to kindly invite you over.
Thank you once again. Yeah, that's why I said Mark is a bad boy. There was a time he was referring to EC as, EC means Errors Commission. He's the face behind, should I declare you election watch. So if you hear of any election watch, he's the bad boy behind it. It is not anybody's intention to be committing errors. And I'm not here to justify any errors committed. But whether you like it or not, we are human beings. So once in a while, there could be space. That's why their request was that how they can be addressed. So if it doesn't come, well and good. But in case they happen, how do you address them? That's the reason why we are having the discussion. So we'll do as much as possible to avoid them. But in case they happen, there should be written guidelines to guide anybody that they can be addressed A, B, C. So that's what I would say with respect to that. Again, he made a statement that the media is able to compare and we should be ahead of the media. I will stand here and say that it is not possible. The reason is that when the results are declared at the polling station, the media can use even WhatsApp to transmit their results. Electoral Commission will not do that. Because I always say that they should hasten slowly. In the attempt to use the WhatsApp and the rest, somebody can easily send false results. And before you realize, just imagine that, get results from a constituency on the WhatsApp. Then I use it to declare the results. Later, it turns out that the one who, somebody sent it to me, and the actual document comes and it is different. What happens? So we move to electronic voting and the rest. That one I agree with you. But we are not there yet. We don't trust ourselves. I always say that there are a lot of things that we can do, but in Ghana, where even a fax can be intercepted in the air, results is changed, then the fast continues to them. So when we are moving, we should be very careful. I know the law students, I think last year, we did election for them. It was e-voting. This year, they didn't use e-voting. Last year, we did it for them, e-voting. This year, they did not. Why? Even the small face. In 2003, if my memory serves me right, Legon did election, then Commonwealth Hall, the Vandals, they managed to increase their result by 3,000. So when, you know what happened? When the first batch of people got their ballot papers, they didn't vote. They went out and photocopied them, colored one. So when we were sorting, we realized, instead of maybe 4,000, you are getting 7,000. So, and once you photocopy, the serial numbers will be the same. So we took them away, and they were rather telling us that electoral commission people are criminals. We are criminals because we have been able to detect the fake ballot papers. So we wanted to be fast, but we should also be interested in the quality of the results. Other than that, let's be fast, then we'll plunge the country into troubles. So let's hasten slowly, and once we are using the paper trail system, let's use it. You are the very people who will write and say errors commission. The affirmative action, we take your congratulatory message, they will hear. And you are also saying that we should intensify the voter education at the grassroots. I think it was been raised, and we need to also do that. But the irony of it is that, especially our ladies, affirmative people, when they are watching their what call it, soap opera, whatever, immediately they see advert, let him go and heat my water. They are not interested in the advert. True of us. So let us also pay attention to, we are going to roll out a lot of voter education in different forms this year. But so we should also be interested in them, instead of only watching the films and the rest. Now, with respect to the rejected ballot, I think I took you through why we reject ballot papers. And it will interest you to know that when I was writing my thesis, I had 3 topics. One of them was with economic situations and rejected ballots. There's something we call efficacy of ballots. People use rejected ballot as a way of showing their disenchantment or protest. In the Latin American, as part of my result, they can get up to 45% of rejected ballots. We have done lesson for Ghana Medical Association, UTAG, what have you. They all have rejected ballots. Why are we saying that they are not educated? Ghana Medical Association, where people are medical doctors. UTAG, lecturers, and what have you. Political parties at the various levels. So we should not always be thinking that it is only illiteracy that leads to rejected ballot. Some are a form of protest. So we should also bear in that. We'll do the education, but we should also expect that it does not necessarily mean that every rejected ballot is as a result of the. And I'm also aware, and some of you are aware, that some people will take from here, and they will give it to everybody. There was a time we were doing political party elections around DRC area. They went for meeting with the political parties, the candidates. They took it. Then when they got to the river, they were pouring libation that when we say so the matter water God, whatever. Please don't harm me, because these are some of the issues. So it is not always the issue of when we're doing the recent elections for the two of the big political parties. We were there up to 12 o'clock. The delegates were not coming. And when we inquired, they said one of the candidates has not do the do. So they are waiting for him. And the person went and did the do, but he lost. So that is the issues that we have now. The people who demand, and after they have demanded, some will go and give it to everybody. Some too will already vote according to their conscience. And some of them, they are giving and they swear. They are made to swear on it. So these are a lot of the issues that are cropping up. So we should not be in a hurry to think that rejected ballots are rejected ballots because people are ignorant about it. Some of them, they know. And unfortunately, political rejected ballot party has become the third force. But it's also not true that the number has been increasing. Because the recent one, it was less than, I think, 2% or so. They have gone to 3% before. I'm not saying that it's good, but we should also bear in mind that people can reject. But so the efficacy talks of not voting because of economic reasons and rejecting, voting wrongly because of economic reasons. So that is also about efficacy of ballot. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think I would take just one more question. Just one more question. So, lady, please ask your question. Please wait for the microphone.
Hello. Okay, I'm Dorcas from Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition.
Your surname?
So, Tinkran.
Dorcas Tinkran.
Yes, please. So, I want to know how the Electoral Commission decides the amount of the filing fee, how the filing fee is determined, what the EC considers before the filing fee comes out. Thank you.
Before Doc responds to that, I almost skipped. Mr. Klaes wanted to ask a question some minutes, a while ago, and so let me kindly ask him to.
Thank you. I'll keep it short. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jonas Klaas, chargé d'affaires, and currently the deputy at the European Union delegation. Thank you to the organizers for setting this up and for the Election Commission, particularly to take part. I think it's yet another evidence of the strong democratic quality in the country. The European Union continues the process when invited to and where deemed appropriate, not only through observation, but civic education, peace messaging, mediation, women inclusion, etc. I have one small question on the topic of today. I think the topics are very much linked. The question around irregularities as well as the announcement of results, because there's heavy pressure on both. And I think there's heavy pressure to announce the results quickly, as political parties do their own exit polling and will be present, and because of the parallel vote tabulation that is going on. So the question would be, how can we help collectively as media, as organizations, to help mitigate or prevent the tensions that will inevitably erupt in the time after Election Day and between the publication of results? Because there will be a lot of statements being made about preliminary results, about region-specific results, etc. How can we help there? Because we do see that that's a very critical time period. And maybe one small message. I think I really appreciated the Election Commission's overview of what is in place, which rules are on place when it comes to irregularities, etc. But I would also perhaps convey some level of openness to not just better communicating on the rules that exist, which is very good through the 8th memo as well, but also to consider further continuously improving the rules that are already in place, and particularly when it comes to the procedures for corrections. But thank you very much, commendable event, and see you at the next one.
Right, thank you. So I think I'll give the floor to Dr. Sribo Kweku to respond.
I think this one we have already three issues there to talk about. The first question was with respect to what goes into the filing fee fixing. And I think I said that for 2 years, for 2 elections, we have not increased it. But the issue is that when you are going to fix the election, we should fix it in such a way that we don't deter or it doesn't become a stumbling block for the people who want to file. So you look at it. Then you look at the economic situations to affordability. That should always be there. And care should also not be taken that you make such a way that anybody can just... Because some people, they will only file, they will not even campaign because they want to be popular. Their name is on the ballot papers. So all these things will have to be considered. Other than that, you cannot print a ballot paper to be from here to the gate. Assuming you were to say that for parliamentary, there won't be any fee. You can, so a lot of things go into that. But like I said, for parliamentary, 2016, the same fee as 2020 and the same fee now. So we have not changed because we want to, as much as possible, encourage people. But we look at the economic situations and we'll do that. Then the next one from my brother, we have been meeting a lot of times at the EU. So some of these things that I'm saying are not new because I've been meeting them on that. But the issue, as I said, election is a collective responsibility. It is not one person or one institution that raises the tension. The mistrust and the suspicion is so high. And I don't know, the political parties, anybody can go and tell a story and it becomes news. For instance, the media. Recently, they were publishing that the Electoral Commission was going to create 25 constituencies. So I met them and asked, where from that source? Because me, being the director of election at that time, never knew of it. So somebody put a story somewhere and everybody is carrying it. Some of these things don't help us. The recent day I saw a social media that somebody was saying that he has seen the Electoral Commission people doing registration or transfer in a place at Jowulu. And the person didn't provide any form of evidence. So when people are engaging in misinformation, disinformation, and the rest, we expect that swift action should be taken to condemn that. Because if genuinely people are doing what is wrong, the first place to go is to go to the police. And the police will come in and restore order. But if you have to take the law into our own hands, that this is going to happen and I will do that. That's why people are lynching people without any grounds. We should not take the law into our own hands. So that is the issue. Then all of us should commit ourselves to the sustenance of peace in the country. Because the fact remains that if you have money, that you can run away. I don't think you can run away with all your extended family members. It's not possible. So the minute you will be airborne in the air, you'll be thinking of my uncle, my uncle's son, my uncle's that, my uncle's that. So whatever you are doing, take note of that. That everything has its own unintended consequences. And we should not be dying because somebody is going to win power. We should not be dying. And we should not be losing the stripe of the hair because somebody is going to win power. Whether you win or lose, Ghana will still be Ghana. Ghana was there before political parties came into force. I remember when I went to Kumasi, a godfather of mine said that, I've heard that you are saying you belong to House of Folk. In Kumasi here, if you do that, they will say you are an NDC. So I said, Uncle, House was there before any of the political parties came. Isn't that the case? So why would I say because of political party, I will no more support us? I will continue to support us. Anyway, this year we will take the lead. So please, in everything that we are doing, let's think about the people who are innocently in the house. Somebody is just 10 years. And if you look at the number of people who were killed, I understand some of them were juveniles. So somebody can shoot. But if I'm the target, it may not even hit me. Then an innocent person should be. So let us all know that in our actions and inactions contribute to the tension in the country, but it doesn't help anybody. After all, you want to win and go and rule. You rule over live people, not dead people. So you should take note of that. Yeah, you said that we should reinforce the collective measures for the irregularities. And that's why we rule out those things. But because most of them, I would say that our people are aware, but because the public is not aware. Because the way I understand election, I am thinking that once I get my polling station results, I don't need to be at any of the collation centers. Because if my structures are working, I can get the 41,000 results. So if the Electoral Commission diabolically gives it my opponent, I will go with my facts. And once we are going to court with evidence-based data, no judge will tell you that you don't have the fact. But if you are in a rush, you want to declare your results and that, the data will come later to expose that you are not telling the truth. I remember my friend Koko Yidohu, that we were on comfortable lead, if you remember that. But the data came out and it did not support that. 2016, okay. Yes. So please, the political parties. But the irony of it is that when they are not on a political platform, they are very calm, humble. But when they go onto their platform, I think somebody said, whatever, what they call it. The gbeshi. So please, we are not saying that if something is wrong, don't complain. But you should know the remedial process and activate that process so that you can have a peace. If you are being cheated, relax. Because know that once I have my facts, it will be rectified. Fortunately, the presidential one, within 42 days, they will give judgment. So the person who stole the vote will be brought down within 42 days. And we are the CSOs and they're working on that for the parliamentary. So that will not be like the 1996 where somebody won an election, commission said it was a wrong decision, then the person was there up to. And that time people always talk of Rebecca. Another, it happened in Ejumaku too. So MPP was an MP for Ejumaku, but she have been an NDC. Then Rebecca should have been MPP, but was NDC. So we are all thinking of Ayewasu Wogon. But the NDC also lost that chance at the Ejumaku. So the judgment was given when Enos or so, yes, had been denying the election. So this time around, like I said, let's take interest in the processes that we have put in place. And let's all speak to peace, and peace will prevail. Thank you.
I think I'll be doing a lady here a lot of injustice by not allowing her to ask her question. She's come all the way from, she's an assemblywoman, come all the way from Bawe. And so...
Bawe is not far away. From, because they were all the way from Bawe. I thought it comes from my village.
Okay,
So
once again,
please,
good afternoon to all of us.
Yes.
And this is my name is Augustina Santuesiedu, as he said, assemblywoman. This is my appeal and then my humble request. And there's a question on it, but then let me go this way. The EC officials that you employ, that is the ROs and others, do they have to declare their political affiliation? That is one. If not, then I'll appeal to the EC that when you train them or you call them, let them know that they are not supposed to declare their political affiliation when they are at the polling station or wherever they are. I am saying this because I was at Cape Coast yesterday having a meeting, and one of them said, it's an arrow, and he said, as for this election, I'm not going to say, but wherever he belongs to, he will make sure they win at the polling station. So please, I will appeal to you that if those can be addressed. Thank you so much.
This is one of the laws that govern our elections. Article 51 of the Constitution says that the Electoral Commission should come out with CI to govern its elections. And this is what governs the registration of voters, CI 91, as amended by 126. And if you look at, I want you to read so that it will not be that I am putting words there. So CI 91, it was promulgated in 2016. Regulation 8.
Okay. So Regulation 8 says, 8.1, the Commission shall make available to the interested persons or parties at the district office the names and pictures of persons it proposes to appoint as registration supervisors, registration officers, registration assistants, and any other official for the centers not later than 14 days before they are appointed.
I think that should be okay. Right. And I remember Computer was fighting us that we gave it to them, but it was less than 14 days. And I told him that, but it was still before the close of Friday. The only difficulty we are having is that we always want to train our people closer to the activity. So I was telling Computer that we can give you the list even 1 month to the exercise. But as part of the training, some of our people will not attend the training. Some people will be fired in the course of the training. So what it will mean is that we'll give you a list which may not reflect the officials on the ground on the day. So we will wait maybe 4 or 5 days to the election. Then we'll have finished with the training. Then we realize these are the actual people who are going to work. Computer is not the case. So we give it out to them. And it will interest you to know that they will raise the issue. As I speak, we have not even finalized the list. But they have protested and we have taken away about 7 names. I, Mr. Jemensa, will not know all the voters. Now, we are talking of about 41,000 polling stations. Multiply that by 5. More than 200,000. That will give you the officials we are going to use for 2024. Who in Ghana will know all of them? So we say that, but at your level, in the polling station, we are picking people from within. So the people should be able to. But it should not be just on suspicion. It should be evidence-based. When I was the regional director for Upper West. The driver of my deputy regional director was a party delegate. So when I went there, he came and told me that we are going to do the election. But Chief, I'm a delegate. I said, just today, take a decision. Delegate for life or driver for life. Pick one of them. And he picked driver for life. So please, the political parties should not just be taking the list for taking sake. Take them, let it go to the grassroots of your people, and let them scrutinize them. If you are able to prove that they are party affiliate people, you know. But from what you are saying, I would say that we're doing a new. Because at one police station, what can you do? Unless all the parties are charmed to support you. Me, I always say that if it is so that we rig election, then the parties help us to rig the election. Yes. Because every step they are involved. Printing, everything. So if you go to sleep and you allow people to do whatever, then you are also contributing. I remember I went to a police station and the MPP and it was written, they were praying cards. Praying cards. I say, are you here as agent also? We trust your people. And I'm saying, after that, you come and cry. So the people on the ground too should be, and that's why the EU, we will plead with you if you can still support us to at least train the party agents, train them. But the irony of it is that the two parties, you train and they mistrain. You train and they replace them. Either they mistrain them or maltrain them or display them, because they'll tell you that they have been contaminated. They have been exposed. So the very people who are saying it's not true, you are looking at me, it's not true. Oh. Because wait, have a computer is my friend. Dr. Computer. Don't you drop the people because they have been exposed after training? Of course. You see, one thing I like about it, you know what? Computer came to me about a month, that one we're going to do the registration. Gave me about, the district level election. Computer, how many names did you give me? The district level election, the people we wanted them to work for us. Oh, yeah. How many names? For the district assembly. Yes. Okay. And he's a friend, I know he's a known NDC man. He gave me the list. So I asked him that, are you sure your people are not party activists? He said that. I gave them to them, but they recruited them. So next time when he came to office, you recruited party functionaries. I said, have you forgotten? He also gave me a list. He's there. I mean, I don't have my the truth. So I asked him that, but he also gave me a list. So if somebody is also giving me a list, why are you complaining? So the people who do the work are Ghanaians. The most important thing that they should go and do professional work. Me, I always say that the way I understand elections, I don't care Dr. Baumia or former President Mahama being the chairperson of the commission. To me, I know they can't do anything. Because the only thing you do is formulate policies. And the policies are reflected in the law. You cannot do any policy that is not backed by law. But you'll be the last person to see the results. And when the results come, you cannot change it. So what is it? So the parties should be on the ground, do their work well. And that's all. Thank you. Oh, I think I've been saying that it's a collective responsibility. Yes, I've said that. I agree with you. But no matter what we do, you need you too.
Wow, I think you all agree with me that Dr. Sribo Kweku deserves a resounding round of applause. Please put your hands together for him. It's been a very insightful presentation, forum, and I've totally enjoyed, I don't know about you, but I've totally enjoyed this forum, and I know that we have insights that we'll take away from here. I'm going to ask my prof to do the closing remarks, but before then, I have an announcement to make here. It says that, but this was given to me about 10 minutes ago, and it says lunch will be delayed for 30 minutes. So if you could be a little bit more patient, which means probably around about 20 minutes from now. Okay, so would you have any questions or contributions to make? Okay. Mr. Okra? We'll give a contribution.
Yes, in respect of what Doctor just said.
Right.
We know we had a by-election some time ago at Talensi. You recall? We had a by-election in Talensi, in the Upper East. At that time, like Dr. Kweku said, the commission always agrees with the political parties as to when they will give them the lists of the officials they've recruited. They had actually agreed on a date, and that date was the day that they were to have a RIPAC meeting. No, it was a DIPAC meeting. So people, party big men from Accra went there, and they did not even go to Electoral Commission office. They went to the media house, and they started lambasting the commission that they had heard Electoral Commission had recruited, had transferred people who did not belong to that constituency to take part in the elections. But they know very well that there are laws guiding by-elections. You know, so for a by-election, somebody who has just resigned, except that the person died, just resigned, you cannot do any transfer because it has to be done within 42 days to the election. And per the practice, before Parliament informs the Commission will have about 30 days to conduct the by-election. So practically, there cannot be any transfer. They knew it, but they went to lambast the commission before they came to the regional office to sort of chat with the commission. When they came, they said, you have painted black already, now where are you? So you know the game, that is it. We gave them the lists of the officials. They were looking at it and said, give me the list and let me see if these delegations, they were MPP delegation. give me the list and let me see if there are any NDC people there, I will remove them. And then we quizzed. What about if you find MPP people? So be as soon as everybody is protecting their interests. So if I see MPP and I'm MPP, I'll leave it. I expect the NDC people to also come and protest against the. So that is what is there. And exactly what Doctor said. People brought their own, another person brought their own. In the end, you have to act professionally. Okay? People in the Electoral Commission, some vote, others don't vote. That is their right. So in the final analysis, I think it boils down to the way they perform on the D-Day. But the parties have a big role to play. At one by-election again in the northern region, that was the time that Dr. Ibn Chambers had been appointed to go to the ECOWAS. And so his constituency his seat became vacant, and we had a by-election. We were going around. At one polling station, there was a party agent who could not even spell his name. If you asked him 3 + 4, he couldn't tell you the answer. Yet he was a party agent. So in the process, some of the party big men went there and they saw this man representing their party. They said, no, this man cannot represent the party here because in the end, when we are to count ballots, he can't do a good job for us. But what parties do is that sometimes there are people who do errands for the party at the grassroots and they are never compensated. When you have jobs like this, they push them there so that at the end of the day, they can also get something in their pocket. You know, by push them like that, it means they will also do rubbish for you. So the band got there, and the case came to Electoral Commission, and we decided that, oh, okay, in spite of the fact that this is the official person the party has delegated, nominated to come and work here, it's within you. You can bring somebody else, but remember, this person, he said, no, me, I will move. He will move because he knows he wanted something. We asked the man to pay him off so that he would take. He said, no, I'm not prepared to pay him off. They wanted to be 2 at the polling station. But the law says there should be 1 agent at a time. You know, sometimes they create problems for the EC. Only for the EC to go and back small. So you are not supposed to be, where's your accreditation? You are not supposed to be there, so go. And they say EC is bad.
I think I want to give 2 examples of my own personal experience with respect to the party agents. In 2001, at Mr. Ahin's home constituency, immediately after 2020 election that the MPP came to power, they lost the MP. I think he was a minister, I don't know, a champion. He was called a champion. He died within his own constituency through accident. Then we were going to have by-election. Then I wouldn't want to put the person's name, but one of the top MPP people came and protested that they felt that one of the assistants at Gomofete is a known NDC person. At that time, I was in charge of Aguna district. It's an adjoining district, but all the activities are done at the Aguna. So even though it was my constituency, everything was being done there. So I went there with the district officer and my colleague, so myself, the officer in Gumwa, then the officer at Futu. We went there. The current deputy chairman was then there in charge of Futu. So when we went there, they were teachers. So we called the guy that we heard that you are an NDC person. Why are you here? I was the chief. This is also an assistant. He's also an NDC. The presiding officer is an MPP. We understand ourselves. So when we brought the 3 of them together, they said, yes, they all accepted a bet. We have been doing the election. There are no problems. We said that go and cancel each other. So what? Cancel, not council. Cancel each other. And we left them because we were there to the election. Recently, during the Ejusu by-election, I was there when one of the agents for the independent candidate, the EOMs, came with a long list. We have given the list to them. Chief, Your people have recruited MPP executives in Kumawu. It was in the news. I said, fine. It was a Sunday. You have the whole of today and the whole of Monday. Indicate the executives who are MPP people and bring it to me. We'll investigate them. To date, I'm waiting for the list. You understand? So some of the issues, the people will want to say for you to know that they are working, but they don't have the facts. And every election that you talk of, I'll say that currently, my most fear is misinformation and disinformation. So we should always all open our eyes, because any of you could be a victim. Any of you could be a victim. And you know, the political party, if they say that the man going there is carrying some ballot papers, they may not take the time to investigate. They can lynch you. They can easily lynch you. Myself, 2016, I was the regional director of Ashanti. You all heard that Undwi said he has found some ballot papers in the hotel. Kofi Wache was then the regional police commander. I went and saw them, and they are ballot papers, but they are fake ones. They don't have serial numbers. They are not in booklet form. Clearly, so I told Kofi that they are not. At the dawn, the next day, a preacher on radio, let's pray against the Electoral Commission man. I quote you 3 million. And I was say. It's a pastor. In 2020, my family is in Cape Coast. I was on my way to Cape Coast. Then Kevin Taylor was on his program. As I speak to you, Sri Bogoku is in Kofodia. He has negotiated for 5.2 million euro. He was going to take it for the EC officers. So I have $3 million to collect and 5.2 million euro to collect. Please, I'm waiting. Immediately I get them, I'll resign. No, immediately I get them, I'll resign. So these are some of the issues. And you know, Ghanaians, some of them said, oh, you're in radio, so. What is it says, oh, you're in radio, so. So these are some, and we should all be working against them, because it affects all of us. When there's a bullet, the bullet will not know MPP, the bullet will not know NDC, the bullet will not know Electoral Commission, it will not know affirmative action people. So please and please, let us all, in everything that we are doing, let's consider Ghana before our political party interests.
I'll add something to the misinformation and disinformation. You remember, when was that election? The time election, what year was that?
2008.
2008. I was in charge at the operations room at the EC. And then this message came that Mr. Ayin had changed all the results from man to man to some other places at the operations room. So the EC chaps, the NDC who were at the operations room started pushing me around. I called Dr. President to come. President came and spoke to them. Not knowing a lady had gone to them and informed them that she was at the operations room. And I sent her to go and buy food. And when she returned, I have changed all the results. You see, and I was expecting that the press would even call me and find out that, Mr. Ayin, this is what is going against you. What do you have to say? Nobody called till date. I had to run away. They had to whisk me around 12 midnight to Kufudia, where I was given police protection for about 2 weeks. So all that I'm saying is that the press, yes, you can send messages, but please find out. This message about me rigging the election was repeated every 30 minutes at Radio Gold. Every 30 minutes. And Alaji called me and said, we have been instructed to shoot you on sight. And I said, do you know the one you are talking to? He said, yes, I understand you are Mr. Ayin. I said, you don't even know me. When I'm standing there, you might not even be able to recognize that this is Ayin. See, so please, sometimes there's a need to check. Check, because how can you stay at the operations room at the EC and change results? You cannot do anything like that. The results come, and the people who receive it first will be the parties. You photocopy, you give it to them. before you even send it to Dr. Ferijan to look at. See, so we need to be very careful. I was nearly lynched. They sent somebody to come to the yard, and the person mistakenly was going to kill somebody who was at the gate, knowing that that was Mr. Ahin standing there. You see, so some of us have gone through a lot. Remember the time election, I had to run away. I ran away for so many months before I came back to the office. And I still have that recording with me. I went to the CID headquarters in Accra, and you know what the regional director told me? The CID guy. Is it a BNI? BNI. Mr. You know, just forget about this. I had a recording. I knew the lady who went to the NDC and spoke to them about me. Not knowing it was something that was, you know, orchestrated. Yes, it was orchestrated. So please help us to give you good elections. I had to run away from my dear life when I had committed no crime. I had committed no crime. Thank you.
Thank you.
Doc, thank you very much. I decided not to speak, but when the polling agents thing came in, then I thought, we all know the polling agents, with the exception of them observing and then certifying the results, they have no business at the polling stations. So someone like me, from the party, I'm from Progressive People's Party, we mostly don't place much premium on the polling agents. That's why anytime you are saying something, I said, we want the EC to do his job, because the greater heart is your responsibility. I started becoming a polling agent in 2008 through CPP, PPP, and now I'm the National Communications Director for PPP. And I followed through. The problems at the polling stations come from your people. It comes from your people. From where I sit, I see from the time they are doing the sorting and then the counting. So I will wish, when you are training them, Mr. Ahin or Ms. Okra was talking about reconciliation before sorting is done. Most of your people don't do that. They just pour and they begin to sort out. And when they are sorting too, I've seen a polling station where my constituency organizer voted in an election, and his vote was counted among some other parties' thing. So as to whether, when they are doing the sorting, they observe the ballot paper well to see whether it is right or appropriate to be included in somebody's vote or not, they don't care. They don't care. Once they've seen something, yeah, it's a vote, they just put it in. And that is when the parties are there, they fight. They fight. So for me, I wish those electoral officers, your officials at the polling station, the kind of training that you are giving to them, that is where people are questioning whether they belong to parties or they don't belong to parties. Or if he belongs to a party and he see Progressive People's Party's vote, he will decide that, oh, let me push it in NDC's party or MPP party. If he sees a mark which maybe is not to be accepted, he will just ignore, put it in because he belongs to a particular party. Or he sees that this ballot, though it doesn't look like original certified ballot paper that should be included, because it belongs to a party, he will put it in. And that will raise an alarm at the polling station. So it's very, very key that your people will be very sincere with us at the polling station, doing the job with national interest. Because for me, I think they are the architect of all the problems we are going through. It is not the parties. If the EC officials do their job properly, there will be peace. There will be peace. And trust me, that, as you said, the parties, when we are off the political platform, we are cool. We dine together, we do everything together. They are, when I'm in need, I call NDC person, I call NPP person. If they can support, they support. Likewise, when they are in need, they call. Sometimes I even go out, I can post MPP poster, NDC can post my poster. We do for each other. Because it's about presenting ourselves to the people. But if the EC official will not be sincere with us, then the problem arises. So that's why I always say that let the EC do the job well. And we are cool. We will all be cool. And let the equality play out. In a situation where it seems, when we came here, since morning to date, if I had no reason to mention Progressive People's Party's name, if none of us had heard a minority party name here, or a smaller party name here. Oh, NDC, MPP. Well, they rose to talk. From the podium, it has been NDC, MPP, NDC. Are we promoting duopoly? So please, let the EC, who is trying to help multi-party democracy, do us a favor. That is why you see them to be premium, and you are prioritizing them over all other parties. It is not helping our democracy. We will not rise and be so agitative like they would do.
And that's why their names are mentioned.
It doesn't mean we are not relevant in our democratic practice.
Okay, thank you.
So please, let us help each other so that if they see that there is proper competition, they will stop these agitations and vigilantism and other things so that we can all have the best democracy as we do. Yes.
Thank you. But you see, the fact will still remain that as far as nobody can organize issues about elections and will not mention BPNDC. Because they are the, I don't want to say that they are the trouble causes. But everything that you do, once the two of them are okay, you are good to go. Because like we are saying, when you came, you wouldn't have even talked. But MPP and DCC will sit there and they will not allow you to go. They will talk. So their names will be mentioned. And the irony of it is that some of you too, you are friends to them. And when, for example, when we are holding meetings, you will see that they will be talking to you. If about decision taken, they want you to support them, not to speak your own words. They want you to support. It's a fact. But you see, I don't agree with you that it is always the director. Then you don't understand the issue of collective responsibility. Because you are saying that your party somebody voted and it was not counted. There are two reasons. Either the person did not vote for himself, which is a possibility, or the person cast an rejected ballot. It's also a possibility. But the most important thing is that when the ballots are being sorted and the media is there, the observers are all there. And if you are there and you will not speak, then why are you there? So you should also show interest. Because agent, you should be interested in. Food is being cooked for you, and you say you don't care about the ingredients in the soup. What about you are allergic to some of the ingredients? So you should be interested. I would never agree with you. Because it is human beings who are going to work at the polling station. The people are not our permanent workers. You can pick anybody in this room as an officer. Anybody. So how would I know that the person is going to do it? But if the person is aware that somebody is watching over him, the person will do the right thing. So don't think that it is the easy. They are human beings. So I cannot say that they will always do what is right. But you need somebody to monitor them. You need somebody to be observing them. Even you yourself, when you are in the room alone, you can be naked. Even when your wife is there are certain things you will not do. When your children is there, when your children are there, you will not do certain things. That's what we want. So there should be a limitation to my actions. And if once I know that somebody is observing, if you go to a house and you see CCTV, you be careful about your movement. Yeah. Is that the case? Yeah. So the people agree that we have trained them, but we don't know them. We cannot vouch for them 100%. We will not sit there and say that everybody we recruit will go and do the right thing. We will not say that. But once the person knows that somebody is observing or watching the person, they will sit up. So please, if it's not part of your party policy, I will want to say that to cultivate it is very important. And me, somebody saying, I don't take it. I have seen it, then I will take it. Because somebody can go and vote against the party, but because you want people to see that, yes. They will say, oh, I voted and nobody. There was in 1998 when Dr. Ndu became an assemblyman. At that time, there was a lady who I was teaching who voted against his own father. His own father. Because the father is a responsible person. The father cannot be an assemblyman. Her own father. But don't you go and tell the father that I voted against you. So the father will say that my own daughter were there and I got 0. You understand? So it is good that we all show interest. Don't ever think that everybody will do what is right. But somebody should be there to be observing them. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much to... I think he deserves another round of applause, doesn't he? Yes. I think I'm told that some food is in, so I'd like to wrap up very quickly. And but let me acknowledge the presence of my executive director, Dr. Emmanuel Akwete, who's just joined us. He had an equally important meeting to attend, but he's made time to come very quickly to see the end of this program. So, Doc, please, if you just can share a word or two with... You're okay? Right, okay. So I'll call on Prof. to give us the closing remarks.
Okay, thank you so very much, Patrick. Since my boss, Dr. Emmanuel Akwete, has mercifully given us the go-ahead without any intervention whatsoever, I'll be very brief. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we assembled here today to discuss 2 major recommendations by the European Union Election Observer Mission for election 2020. These are: 1, publishing polling station by polling station results on the website of the EC. And 2nd, the EC issuing clear guidelines in case of any irregularities during the counting and the collation process. It is because of these 2 recommendations that we invited the EC to come and explain to us how they are going to deal with these issues in the upcoming December 2024 elections. We have been assured by Dr. Srebo Kweku, aka Dr. Otuo Srebo Kweku, that 1, the polling station by polling station results will be published before the expiry of the 21-day deadline for filing election petitions. I think that because people who intend to file petitions also want to be able to do so in good time using official results, it is not enough to say before. They should be published in good enough time to enable people who want to go to court to do so using the official data. Then, on the 2nd issue, issuing clear guidelines for resolving any irregularities that may come up in the counting and the collation process. Dr. Srebo Kweku has assured us that these will be available in the election manual, the manual for election officers in the 2024. Every election, they have guidelines for them. Unfortunately, this manual is available only to them. The big difference this time around is that they will not only publish these guidelines, but to be available on the website, and there will be an aid memoir. So all of us will have access to these guidelines. But again, I would like to urge that most of the time, if these, you can put it on the website, But don't forget, the party agent who has been sent by the NDC, NPP, PPP, CPP to the police station maybe has not even gone to the website to see, to see those guidelines. And so if a dispute arises and you are applying those guidelines, he or she is not aware and can create confusion. That is why it will be very, very important to incorporate these guidelines in the training of the polling agents, so that by the time the polling agent comes to the polling station, he or she is already aware that in case of irregularity, this is how it will be resolved. So on this note, I will perform a very important Ghanaian cultural duty, distributing thanks at the end of a ceremony, an event like this. You can't just ask people to go away without distributing the thanks. So I want to thank sincerely my good friend, Dr. Otuo Sribo Kweku, for the wonderful work he has done. I mean, he broke everything down so very easily that all of us were able. No. So all of us were able to understand, comprehend, and appreciate the efforts that the EC is making to solve these two issues. On our part, we want to thank all participants, whether they spoke or did not speak. Speaking or not speaking is not a condition for eating. So please, feel free to take the lunch, whether you spoke or not. But I want to tell you that next Tuesday, Patrick, we have another function here. So if you have received the invitation, please feel free to honor the invitation, and we will always appreciate you. I thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. We do have a session for taking a picture with Dr. Sribo Kweku. So please don't rush out yet. I think we could just line up, arrange some chairs here, and then Walter, you'd like to assist us to do that? Yes. Walter is here. And so please don't rush out. We'll just sit around and have a photo op.